Hello friends, welcome back to our Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire campaign After the Fire. We are here doing our house actions this week. So we're not playing a full session, but we are doing something just as juicy we found last time. So I'm pretty excited. I had to like the barest bit of prep, but I've got a little bit of idea of what the NPCs are going to be up to this month. And what I'm interested in is obviously what these fine people are up to next as well. So first of all, we're going to do like a little war council scene with Faye, Samuel and Mara. That was a request. And so we're going to let them chat through what they want to do next, and then we'll launch into the house actions as well. Yes, the astute amongst you will have noticed the title card. It's the Ice Dragon. We're going into the Ice Dragon the first month of 206. I think 206. We went 205, right? Or 204 before? I don't know. I'm going to have to look on the...
205.
We're going into 205?
No, we were in 205, right?
So we'll be going into 206 then.
206.
Nice. Cool. Wowzers. All right then.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. What are your resolutions?
Don't die.
Burn it all.
Yeah. Well, you know, one palace down. Let's say hi. Susie, you okay?
Now I'm trying to figure out whether or not we actually were in like 204 instead of 205. I said 205 very confidently.
I could have sworn it was 204.
I think it's 204 because we were in 199 and then we went forward 5 years.
That was a really long battle.
If my episode numbers in like season 4 or anything to go by, we know that I can't count. So let's just to like 205 it or something. It'll be fine. It's a new year. Well, yeah. Hello. We played Hexcrawl yesterday, so I've seen you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we playing tomorrow?
I don't know.
Okay. You're not straight in for Black for Blood though. What was that about?
I don't know. Back for Blood, like, I don't know. I feel like we've played it a lot. And
I mean, you say that. You've played it a lot. I've maybe played all the levels at least only once, and summer levels only once. So you've just poured your, you've hyperfixated, you've poured your life into it for a few weeks, and now I'm sat here with a game I bought, and I've played it once through, maybe.
No. I will put it to the group, as always, about what you want to play. But we can't do any of the higher difficulty modes because they're too hard.
They need to patch it, really. They need to sort it out first.
And we need to get good.
That too, basically, I think.
But yeah, we'll be playing something tomorrow.
And the little mention of Crusader Queens did it was like,
ooh, yeah.
We could play a bit of Crusader Kings again or something.
Yeah, I was thinking about some Crusader Kings. I noticed as well. I mean, it's not multiplayer that I know of, but Bannerlord 2 is on sale at the minute, and I was like,
Oh, you're just gonna make Miria.
Yeah, duh. I mean, come on, that's all I do in games now. But yeah, that's probably. Hey, look, you get a good character, you stick with it, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Brax is suggesting Halo. I'd play Halo with you, but I know that you'd absolutely kick my ass. So
it's a team game. You could be on my team.
Oh, okay. We could play team deathmatch. I guess. Okay.
No, I don't know. Again, I will put it to the group, but it would be the usual time, 2 p.m. ish ? Because it's always ? With me in stream times. So ish.
It is known.
Yeah. Also, and sad news though, I had Popeye's chicken today. I ordered it for my lunch. They didn't bring me any sauces. Religious.
Terrible.
I mean, what is the point? What is even the point? Like the whole point of chicken tendies is for the sauce, and I had no sauce. So I had the world's saddest Popeyes. You can have it like anything from like blackened ranch to barbecue to their festive mustard sauce, which is very good. And I had ordered 2 blackened ranch because I fucking love blackened ranch. And imagine my surprise, I see fucking dry ass biscuit and some sad sauceless chicken. So this is the energy I'm coming. Thank you. This is the energy I'm coming into stream with today.
Okay. Millie, how's your chicken?
That's a very personal question, Sam. I'm deeply uncomfortable with the inverted commas around festive mustard, by the way. Just no, can't. Too immature for this. But I'm fine. Yeah, it's been a bit of a week, but aren't they always? And I am very looking forward to this. I'm glad we got to do the War Council scene before we go into house actions. Because until awkward conversations have been had, or at least like see if they're going to be awkward, I have no clue what I'm doing. I mean, more so than normal. So we'll see what direction all of this is going to go in. It's very exciting, though. I can feel the juices bubbling already. But this is clearly just going to be a nice, normal War Council with nobody getting emotional or upset or angry at all. And it's just going to be practical, logical. Let's get this done.
Promise? No.
I'm going to have to touch my pendant a lot while I promise. Lies.
Fair enough. And V, hello again.
Hello, sorry, I was trying to find which mute button I was muted on.
It's all right. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
I'm not terrified about all of the things that are going to come out in this War Council meeting at all. There's not still a whole bunch of terribly tragic news, I'm afraid.
Yeah. I feel like we're ready. I feel like...
What's the worst that can happen? Right?
The wildfire turns up to the tent.
Why would you do that? Yeah.
I don't know, because at this point, we've been in this for 6 seasons. We're just here punishing ourselves at this point. We have chosen to emotionally traumatize ourselves through these characters.
You keep coming back. Clearly I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Have you managed to dig yourself...
we made good decisions.
No, that's fair. Have you managed to dig yourself out of your your work hole with all the stuff you got going on?
I have.
Bit of streaming coming up or something?
Yeah, I've got out of a chunk of that work crunch, so I don't have to worry too much until kind of mid-December, early January, where it starts up again.
Yeah, fair.
So, but that'll be fine. But yeah, it's good. I've had a lot more time to do things like play the violin recently, which is nice, and I'm sure my teacher is happy that she no longer has to listen to me badly play scales anymore. So
they never leave you. They never leave you alone as fucking scales.
No, you just end up with more of them. There's more of them at grade 2 violin than there ever was for grade 2 piano.
Yeah. I hated scales so much.
I kind of like them now. I've bought technical exercise books. And I look at them and I'm like, somewhere in me, the 14-year-old me that played piano is like, why would you do this to yourself? But like adult me playing the violin is like, this is great. So I don't know what happened.
Well, good luck.
I need it. Thank you.
It's all right. And Dawn, how you doing, friend?
Hey, yeah, I'm good. I made like the mental note to myself a couple of weeks ago after the battle at Summer Hall to mentally and emotionally prepare myself for the next session, to really think things through. And I've not done that at all. It's been a really busy 2 weeks. It's been really, really busy. But I think it's okay. Yeah, because Samuel, he's not at his best at the moment. I don't actually know how bad he is, but it's not his best. So I'm ready to come in unprepared and just kind of roll with it and see how today goes. Looking forward to house actions too. I missed out on the last round of house actions, and I just I love them because they're like a generation for they're a way to generate like the next set of sort of the narrative of the story and the framework of the campaign. And I think that's really cool, that process. So I'm looking forward to that too. But that's it. I've been having fun, but being very busy and looking forward to being back here.
Yeah. No, fair play. I really enjoy these too. There's a little bit of the Crusader Kings player in me that likes this kind of management stuff. But you're absolutely right. Like the house fortune rolls and stuff, where it like can kind of randomly generate or change your resources and stuff for the house, but it basically gives you an excuse to figure out what's happening, and set some plots up around that and stuff. So yeah. And it came to the forefront more for me for this season because you guys are all off and you're kind of now within several houses. We're not just following one house now, and like you're all doing your own stuff. And so house actions is a little bit of a misnomer because actually it's really about kind of your downtime actions, because you have stuff like armies and spy networks and stuff that you can use and have actions for. So it's not just now about the houses and what they do. It's actually what you're up to and what you're getting your assets to do. So yeah. All the players and the pieces. All right, cool. Well, let's kick things off then with some War Council stuff, and then we'll move over. Whilst you're doing that, I'll be frantically prepping the screen for the next thing. All right, let's pop some music on. Suspense. It'll be here in a minute. Okay, so I'll let you guys tell me a little bit about how you want to frame this, but I think maybe this is like in a healing tent, or maybe even Samwell's and Mara's tent, where he's been brought and he's being attended to by the small folk camp followers, your support unit basically, that are healing you up. And I also think like the imagery of Samwell like having been like melted into his armor a little bit, and like them having to try and get that off you is something as well. It's just kind of pressing upon the scene. But how else would we find the three of you?
I do have a bit of a question. Because I wasn't in the last session, I didn't get to watch all of it. How bad is Samwell burned? Like, how bad is it? Do we know?
Oh, yeah, we didn't really massively define it.
Okay.
From in that session, like last time. To my mind, so you've got like 2 wounds out of 4 at the moment. And the way that Wildfire is, I think he's pretty badly superficially burnt, and certainly the kind of chainmail underneath your plate the plates of your armor have fused in places. That was something that we had in the scenes from Summerhall, but also a little bit from last session. And so there are probably patches where it's actually like melted onto you a little bit, melted through the padded like the gambeson and stuff. But there are also points, particularly joint points, where the armor is literally melted and fused together. So while Mara found you, and from the vague recollection of you coming back to the tent, you can notice now that she's not in a great shape either. That she's suffered a couple of cuts. But Faye is fine, and she's probably still carrying a bow and arrow.
Oh, if this is the same day?
This is straight after, yeah.
Straight after, okay. Yeah, she's still got her bow on her. And I think while they're being tended, she's just pacing back and forth outside the tent, like directly outside it.
So I imagine Samwell is, unconscious for a time, awake now, and I think him being awake is a result of the pain. So they are having to cut and pull and break apart armor to get it off of him where it's fused. It's particularly painful to get that off, and there's parts of maybe the leather underneath the chainmail that is partially melted to his skin. So as they're getting the armor off, I think there's strips on his chest, on his arm and shoulders where he's getting partially like flayed, right? Like skin is peeling off with the armor. I think some of his head with the helm had similar problem. And so to get the helm off, they had to cut his hair really, really short, and it's jagged and just kind of sticking up. There's, not a lot left. It's not a clean cut. And so he's sitting up, trying to stay calm, trying to stay awake. But every time they take another piece of armor off, there's just either a cry of pain or a hiss through his teeth. His eyes are blurry, and the entire tent smells like roasted turkey.
I want you to make me a roll for your support unit. I want you to make me their healing roll. So they're going to roll. They're going to roll 4 dice.
4D, and this is for my healing. What is the DC on this?
I'm just checking now. Treat injury. Treat a patient this way. You must attend to the patient spending at least 1 hour a day. At the end of the time, substitute your healing result for the patient's endurance. What I'm thinking is this isn't going to reduce a wound on you, but what I want to check is to see if they don't do you any more damage. And this won't be another wound, but this may be, some additional injuries. This may be maybe even just some narrative thing.
Sure.
I think this is a 12.
It's like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not terribly difficult, but it's formidable in terms of their scale of difficulty.
I can't do that yet. That's something I might do later. A 21 with 6 and 3 5s.
That's 2 degrees of success, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they, it is painful, but they manage to rather successfully and cleanly separate you from your armor. What's the one little boost that you'd want to give it for the second degree of success? What's the extra little thing that you'd want kind of helped with or out of it?
Oh, can I get a bonus to when they actually give me the healing roll at the end of the week? Yeah, I give you reduce the DC or something.
I'd give you like a flat +2 to the roll.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, so I think he's just trying to stay calm because it's painful, and he knows that until he's out of this armor, he's basically in I imagine 4 attendants of the small folk who are all trained healers. Working together. He knows if he moves too much, he can make it worse. He doesn't know everything that's happening though. So occasionally his eyes are darting over and looking for Mara and Faye and Caswell, anybody who can tell him more. If he sees that Mara's hurt, then he'd probably once they start to get most of the armor off, he would immediately send 2 of the small folk to go tend to Mara as well.
I imagine she's in here with him. She wouldn't leave him. And she's pretty busted up herself, but she's probably doing that really annoying thing where she refuses to let anyone help her until they've dealt with Samwell. And she's probably, standing pretty close by, unwrapping her arm with, where Faye's dress had been wrapped around it as a kind of to stifle the bleeding, and just reaching for the nearest clean piece of cloth and wrapping it, kind of doing that I'll take care of myself for 5 minutes, enough to not let these bandages soak through until you can get to me. But she's probably watching this whole thing happen, and Salmon will probably see she's pretty busted up. She's there's a patch of red that's now running down the top of her hip where the armor's split in the side, but that looks superficial. It's her arm, her wrist is at a really horrible, awkward angle, and she's having to hold it up, and the greaves that she has on have been cut clean through, and they're all bloodied as well. The whole lower half of her arm is just drenched in blood, and she looks very visibly in a lot of pain.
Now that he's kind of been seen to, and he ushers away 2 of his attendants to help heal you, do you take that, or do you...
She'd let them, yeah. Once it's clear that he's been dealt with, he's out of his armor, then she'll let people deal with her.
Cool. Okay. So they do attend to you. What we'll do is during the house action stuff, we'll cover the injury and the wound rolls. Your injuries, they're very, very probably going to be healed fairly quickly because we roll for those basically each day.
Okay.
And then wounds you roll for each week. So
yeah, I don't think I have any
took.
injuries. I just took the wound.
You took the wound, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And there is someone pacing outside your tent, Samuel.
I think once they're stripping off the last piece of armor and applying, cooling ointment to the burn wounds, and getting him wrapped up so that ointment stays in place, he hisses again and just like very quietly under his breath says, "Thank you. Who is that outside the tent?"
Lady Faye Rowan.
Please let Lady Faye know that I will call for her in just a minute. And please go find Lord Caswell and tell him to come here to my tent.
And this kind of stooped older man with long curly grey hair just steps out of the tent, and Faye, you see him immediately. He turns to you and he says, "My lady, Lord Samuel will see you in just a moment, but please bear with me." And then he kind of, he's a bit juddery, but he bows slowly and then he walks off to go and find Caswell.
It's probably a little bit awkward as well because she's basically in her undershirt with like a Tarly cloak or something that one of the knights has gone, and now we're back in camp, you should probably put some clothes on. But yeah, she's not focusing on that really, so she'll just nod and carry on pacing.
Mm-hmm. And so, unless you want anything to do right now, Caswell can return.
Yeah, I think he wants to, once the healers are out, before he welcomes in Caswell and Faye probably, first if Caswell doesn't get there in time, he wants to speak with Mara. So once the healers leave the tent, he would just look to Mara and say, "Come, sit. What happened to you?"
And she sits down either beside him on the bed or on if there's like a chair there that, somebody's dragged in while they're seeing to Samuel, whichever is closer to him. She'll sit down and you can see in the way that she sits, like she can't sit up straight. She's leaning to one side with that wound on her side has probably just been, dressed. And kind of is clutching there and still holding her wrist up. We saw the fire. The summer hall exploded. I sent Caswell down with his men to drag out survivors, and then I rode out looking for you. Faye told me that you'd made her promise to look after me, so I couldn't get her to stay, and she came with me. And you can see she's really trying to recall what happened. Like she can't get it all out at once. We found you in the gardens at the back of Summerhall, and I wasn't thinking. I just ran straight out, and then there was a knight in Targaryen armor, and he had Heartsbane. And then she just kind of looks at her arm. He went for a swing, so I got myself in the way, and Faye saved my life. She shot him.
There's a reaction. He's like leaning over at the edge of his bed and kind of wrapping his arms around his bindings in his midsection. But when you say a Targaryen knight in Targaryen armor, his eyes go wide and he says, not yet responding to the rest of what you said after. "The knight, was he wearing black armor with streaks of red like fire?"
No, not like that. Just what they always wear. I assume he was just someone that got out. Maybe he was waiting there with you for someone to come along. I don't know. I don't even know where he came from. I was over at you trying to see if you were still alive, and I don't know. He swung, and I just got myself in the way. And like she's wincing. She's in so much pain with her wrist right now.
He reaches out to try to put like an arm around you, like not a firm arm, right? It's kind of a sad arm around you. Doesn't want to hurt you, and also he's in pain. And he says, "That was very brave of you to come for me, but I'm fine, and you shouldn't rush into battle, Mara."
I'd do it again. Just you try and stop me.
I'm afraid there's not much I can do about that.
No. But
listen to me, Mara. I don't know how bad our losses were yet, but they set a trap within the palace, a maze of sorts.
We saw the barricades.
Hmm.
None of Mullendor's men have come back.
Kind of nods, taking that in, and he says, "And the Tarly Knights, did they follow my orders? Did they stay out of the palace?"
I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't really looking at anything other than trying to find you when I rode out there. Caswell would know better. His men were rounding up anyone who got out.
Before they come and we talk about what will happen next, Mara, I fought my way through that palace. I wasn't focused on cutting down enemy soldiers. I was trying to find the wards, and I did.
We got them out, didn't we?
The prince, he'd bound them in a chamber, tied them, hog-tied them, and he'd set a trap for me when I entered. Wildfire up above. I tried to stop it. I tried to grab onto...
Samuel, where's my brother?
He looks to the little table by the side of the stand where they've set some of his things that he had. And he reaches down and moves some burnt cloth, some of his own linens, ruffling around through it. And he pulls out a little toy. It's a painting of wooden carving painted two knights. You can move a little lever in between the two knights on their horses, and one of the knights will come forward and the other one goes back, and you can switch positions. And one wears the colors, the heraldry of House Greenmont, and one wears the heraldry, the colors of House Ironwood. And the toy, part of it is scorched. Their wooden lances, one of them broken, covered in ash, covered in soot, covered in parts of what's left of the son of House Greenmont. And he takes the toy in his hands and very slowly, looking down to it, offers it to you in his palms, and he says, I tried to save them. I couldn't. I'm so sorry, Mara.
And she doesn't even she's just looking at him in complete disbelief. And there's no blame there, it's just shock.
I tried to get our men out too, the Mullendor men. They were right behind me. When I looked back, when I finally saw the day, none of them were alive. I was the only one who made it out.
And her chest is heaving. She's probably still got her armor on, but there's no sound. She's not even sure if she's breathing. And you can see she's starting to cry, and there's just silence. And Faye, probably from outside, just in all of this commotion, just hears Mara screaming. And that's the only sound that leaves her mouth. And she can't even keep herself sat on the edge of this chair. Like, she just turns into a heap on the floor, kind of like half over Samuel's lap, just crying and shaking.
He'll drape an arm over her shoulder, not fully consoling, but there, and still stare down in the other palm to that wooden toy.
I think at the sound of Mara screaming, Faye would pause by the opening of the tent and look in just to check.
That's probably what you see as Mara kind of collapsed over Samuel's lap. And then after she can't scream anymore, she picks the toy out of Samuel's hand and kind of looks it over. This isn't your fault. This isn't your fault, but
I know.
they used children as bait.
It wasn't just children, Mara. He's looking up to Faye in the doorway as he says this. They slaughtered their own men, their own knights, every ward of the palace, every single one of them, noble families who are their vassals and their allies, and noble families who are their enemies. The prince burned them all, every single one of them.
Whelan was supposed to be safe. It's what you do with wards, you keep them safe. And like you see the change from the grief and the upset changing to anger. Someone has to tell Marzia. And that's probably when she's looking around and like there's just too many things that she's thinking about. She's halfway between shouting still and still crying and trying to catch her breath and kind of gripping onto Samuel as much as she can without hurting him and just still there on the floor. And that's probably where she notices Faye standing in the doorway and she just goes quiet for a minute as she just looks at you.
She'll just watch for a second and her eyes flit to Samuel's just for a moment and she looks down again and leaves, goes back to pacing outside.
Mara goes as if to call after you, and then it's just like that second too late. You're gone as the moment to say something vanishes. She saved my life, Sam. You made a promise to look after me?
I did.
You shouldn't have done that. That wasn't fair. Not to her. Not fair to her.
He struggles to reconcile in this moment, this idea. He tries, and he just kind of stares off, 1,000-yard stare, and he says, very well, I won't ask her to do it again.
I'm grateful. But that's why you have knights and soldiers. I'm grateful that you did, and I'm grateful that she saved my life. But the only reason she rode out onto that battlefield with me was because she didn't want to let me down.
I had my reasons for asking her. Doesn't matter now. None of that matters now. We need to gather Caswell, Lady Faye. We have to act quickly, Mara. We have to decide what we're going to do next.
I don't care what we do next. As long as it pulls them off the throne and gets justice for my brother. For you.
I'm fine. Let's get justice for your brother.
She totally gives you the look that says, I don't believe that you're fine for a second. It's that judgment of like, sure you are. And she eventually kind of painfully, slowly picks herself up off the floor onto the bed next to Samwell. And kind of almost mimics what he's doing, which is kind of sitting forward to take the pressure off of her side, and so she can lay her arm in her lap. And just puts her head against, his unburnt shoulder. And just stays there quietly, waiting for whatever happens next.
Before he looks out towards the flap and sees probably Faye still pacing outside, he just very quietly leans over and whispers, so only you can hear, I had a need. It was a dream the night before the battle about you and the prince. It scared me. That's why I asked Faye to watch you. I'm sorry. And I'll apologize to her too, but not today. Not until we've discussed what comes next.
She kind of like gently, if he's got his arm around her, reaches up to rub at his hand. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not angry at you. I just feel bad for her. I'm not her burden to bear. Is that what? I'm already standing in her shoes as far as a lot of people can see it.
You, me, Faye. In the grand scheme of things, Mara, none of us have it bad. And there are many who have it worse right now, and many who will have it worse to come. And they now need to be who we fight for.
Don't worry about me. I survived shadow cats and stepmothers, and she looks over. Heartsbane's probably propped up in a corner somewhere.
Still got your blood on it.
Yeah, probably still covered in Mara's blood, and kind of, in a way, trying to comfort him and almost try to, make light of something to make this feel less uneasy. And apparently Heartsbane too. I'm not going anywhere. She kind of gives him the reassuring look, like through gritted teeth and like clearly in pain, that she's fine. It's the same like I'm fine but I'm not fine look that he's giving her.
I think he smiles a little bit for the first time since he woke up, and that probably hurts. So he winces afterwards. And then he turns and he kind of calls out towards the front of the tent, Faye.
She'll come straight in, but I think you'll notice that she keeps her eyes down for the most part. Occasionally, her eyes will flit to yours, but it's guarded. Almost like making eye contact with you is painful.
And he does that thing where like you look at somebody, you're not looking in their face, their eyes, like maybe you're looking at like, their knees, like avoiding direct eye contact.
No, I'm in my underwear, but eyes up here.
Oh yeah, I forgot that part. Not sticking with it. He says,
it's right there.
He says, thank you for helping Mara. Thank you for helping me. Did you hear what occurred within the palace?
Some murmurs from knights, and it's a battle. People say all sorts of things.
The Prince of House Targaryen set a trap. I held back most of our men to keep them out of the palace. We didn't need them all in there in the halls, but House Mullendor and myself, we went in, we fought our way through to find the wards, to secure them and make sure they were safe. That is when they sprung their trap. of Wildfire. I did my best to try to save them, but I failed. All of the wards burned. I watched them. Those loyal to House Targaryen and those opposed all burn the same. The Targaryen knights, they burn the same. House Mollendor, they burned too. Everyone in that palace burned. This is what the Targaryens have done. This is what the Targaryens are capable of. And now we have to decide, how do we make sure that the realm knows this, understands finally the terror of the Targaryens? How can we rally everyone, as many as we can, against them?
You intend to paint this as some sort of Targaryen plot, and was this was one madman, surely not.
This was a prince. I don't have to paint it as anything, Faye. I was there. I watched it happen. This is the prince, the son of Maekar, their great general, brother to Baelor. Targaryen madness is known. This is not one man. This is a diseased family, and they must be removed from the throne.
And Mara, this whole time, as Samuel retells the story again, like he can feel her digging her nails into the back of his hand as she's sitting there tense. And Faye can probably see that she's very silently, as he describes the wards burning, she's crying again. And in the silence, just looks up at Faye. Into her eyes, even if Faye's looking at the floor, is just staring at her.
Oh, she'll meet Mara's eyes for sure, and there is a well of sympathy there. I think it'll be the first time you've seen her genuinely connecting with you.
Children, Faye. Some of those wards, children. That prince is in line for the throne. Do you really think the king is going to punish his own grandson? Could you imagine what would happen if anyone else blew a palace up with wildfire, with children, their own wards in it? They'd be put to death, and so would the rest of their house. They'd be wiped off the face of Westeros. Is that really who you want in charge? A family who you know will protect their own like that.
When have I ever said anything of the kind? But others will have similar concerns to those I have just voiced. The question is, can we figure out a way to answer those questions rather than discount them? We have all seen what happens if we discount people's concerns.
Since they're your concerns too, Faye, I think you might be the best person to answer them.
This is no longer just a war of steel and flame. This is a war of imagery. If you truly want to win, you must think before your opponent plays. You do not merely tell your version of the story, you anticipate the questions they will ask and the answers they will give, and it's must demand recognition from the king that what happened there was monstrous, and watch carefully for his reaction. And whatever it is, you weave that into the tapestry you wish to view.
And let me ask you this. We wait for the Targaryen king to respond in the middle of a war, an open rebellion, while their armies are on the march, while they're gathering their strength.
You would advance now, rather than a tactical retreat back to somewhere safer. You are in no fighting condition, Samuel.
I will be fine, and our armies are strong, our host is stronger. We still have the advantage right now. If we retreat, if we wait, we will lose everything. And the next time a castle burns, it'll be whichever one we're sitting in.
She'll sit down on a stool or something and kind of clasp her hands together really tightly, like, what you win on the battlefield is almost irrelevant. If you advance now, they will make you out to be evil, power-hungry, a tyrant. They may even blame the green flame on you.
They're already going to do that, Faye.
So we anticipate. Paint yourself to be everything that they are not painting you to be. You have so many opportunities.
I agree with you. I do, except for waiting. We can't wait now. There is no more safety. There is no more retreating back to somewhere that is safe. They are building their armies and they are coming.
Tactically, whatever you choose to do, you choose to do. What I'm telling you is that to retreat is not weakness and may draw others to your cause. You have already lost many men. If you can paint the picture, the true picture of what happened here.
If we retreat, we lose momentum.
Every retreat is an advance towards somewhere else.
Right now, the next fight is, she looks at Samwell and thinks, Highgarden.
Does not need to be Highgarden, but we will march. Faye, I understand your position, but we will not retreat. What we must do is accomplish both wars at once, a war of arms and a war of imagery. If we fail in either, the Targaryens will win. I promise you that. If we fall back to Horn Hill, we will be sieged on 3 fronts. We don't have to burn the countryside. We don't have to murder villages full of innocent people, but we must push. And we have 2 choices on that front, whichever we choose. And I will march. I need your help. Letting the people see what's happened here, what's really happened here, winning the war of imagery, letting them know what the Targaryens are capable of. We can fight every battle, being as noble as we're able. We can treat our wards better than the Targaryens have treated theirs. Through our actions, we can prove that our side in this war is the right side. It's the side of the small folk, and it's the side of the nobles. It's everyone's side but the Targaryens. So how do we do that?
Lord Caswell, my lord. And in steps Caswell.
Oh, great.
And he actually looks the most knightly out of, the two of you, all of you. He's holding his helmet under his left arm and just kind of like resting under it. And he looks around and he looks you up and down briefly before.
I'm fine, Lord Caswell.
My lord, the Mollendor men that went into the keep didn't make it. Unfortunately, Lord Merryweather's cavalry are unaccounted for as well.
I know. I saw them. What of your men? What of my men?
Your men, your units at least, seem accounted for. And so do mine. Thanks to you, I suppose.
Good. Lord Caswell, have you heard reports from the survivors about what happened inside the palace?
I've heard a mix of things. A trap was laid.
He goes through it again. He tells the story the third time. And when
Caswell
he finishes,
throws up in his mouth a little bit.
When he finishes, he says, I'm hoping that perhaps Lord Caswell, you or one of the other men found a Targaryen soldier, a knight, a captive. Do we have any captives?
The hall is still smouldering, my lord. We haven't had a chance to look through it yet.
Send your men out enough that should there be any actual survivors or resistance, they can deal with them easily.
There is one. I know for sure. The gardens at the back end of the building. Send riders out that way. He didn't have a horse. He's still dressed in armor. He'll be exhausted and tired. And if he was in that blaze, then there's a good chance that he suffers the same affliction that many of the men did, where their armor fused. He's unlikely to be the fastest moving person, but there is at least one. In that direction he ran.
And sort of sucks in a pained breath and says, we need to find out where Prince Maekar and his forces have gone. They were not at the palace. We need to know where he is, what he's planning, before we can make our next move.
Very well.
I'm glad you're all right, Lord Caswell.
I'm glad you're all right.
Looks back to Faye.
She'll uncomfortably shift the Tali cloak to cover herself a little bit more because she's very aware now that there is company. And this is weird.
Mara will do the really awkward thing because they're back in Samuel and Mara's tent, right? So seeing Faye shift uncomfortably with this cloak as Caswell comes in, Mara will get up and kind of push past between Faye and Caswell to the back. Still listening to the conversation, but she's going through one of her trunks and finding one of her dresses, the kind that you can just slip on over your shoulders that might do up at the front. And rummages through, and without saying anything to Faye, just very gently, as she comes up behind her, puts her hand on your shoulder and kind of hands you the dress and kind of motions to almost take the cloak to, you do that thing that girls do where you just hold something so you can get dressed. She's basically, while Caswell and Samuel are having this conversation, just trying not to draw attention to it, but just offering her this silently and taking the cloak and covering Faye so she can put something on.
Yeah, she'll take that suggestion and kind of as the cloak drops away, you can see the blood stains down this white silk and a slight bruising on her forearm where she's out of practice, so her form was slightly off, and she looks a little bit dreamlike again, like she can't believe this is all happening. And she'll, just as she slips this dress on, kind of just glance over her shoulder at Samwell with this strange look, and then flick her eyes down and busy herself with getting the dress ready.
And Mara just keeps her eyes on you. If you look back up at her, there is a look of like, this is probably the most pained you ever seen Mara, and not from her injuries. Like, there's something in her eyes that is just snapped. It's that look of grief, and there's a slight look of being grateful, and also that it's that same look that she gives you whenever she's trying to talk to you. That's like, I know that this is not helpful. This doesn't change anything, but this is the kindest I know how to be. Like, that is the look. It's grief, and she's just trying to be kind with this. Like, there's nothing behind this gesture other than you look uncomfortable, and that makes me uncomfortable here.
Yeah. There'll be a little glance to you once it's all finished and you let the cloak down. But
she just goes and sits back down next to Samwell.
Yeah. Just an awkward moment of eye contact.
Samwell's express.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Find where Prince Maekar is headed. Look for any survivors here. Would there be anything else, my lord?
Yes. We must decide, and it will matter if we can learn Maekar's location, his movements, where we will march next. We will spend a week regathering our strength, sending out messages across the realms so everyone knows what happened here. Everyone knows our story and looks to Faye the way we want to tell that story. And then we will march. We will rally more allies to our side as we do. And we will either take the road west towards Highgarden to ensure that all of the houses along the road in Highgarden itself fall in with us, or we will chase Maekar himself. You, Lord Caswell, once we decide where we will go next, I wish for you to travel to Fox Hollow to join Lord Karen and bring the news to Lady Marcia Greenmont of what happened to her son, what the prince did.
I'll write you a letter.
My lord, I would caution against that.
Yes.
She has to know, Faye.
She does have to know, but...
I will write the letter.
Will that help?
What do you suggest, Faye?
Use me as an intermediary.
You want me to send you to Fox Hollow?
This is family. Faye, that's my brother.
Which is precisely why family is the worst place to go to deliver such news. We have an opportunity to turn this.
This or Marcia?
Lady Marcia
No.
has a greater foe than you now. And
Faye, you don't know Marcia.
No, I don't.
I do. It doesn't matter who delivers that message. She's going to blame us for Whelan's death. She is. Just like she blamed me for some imaginary treason when she did this to me.
How was your marriage, Lady Mara? Some thought it impossible, but it seemed quite simple to me. Just a matter of a few awkward conversations with the right people.
We already know that Marcia has attacked our troops at Fox Hollow. There is no way she takes this news and it brings her to our side.
Even if she doesn't come to our side, it is the right thing to do to inform her properly, to return her son's toy to her so she knows we speak the truth.
I will write the letter.
I agree. But Lady Faye, do you really think that the best way that you can serve the realm is to travel to Fox Hollow?
Why else would you have me here, my lord?
Your guidance, your diplomacy, your friendship. I'm finding myself now with fewer friends than I used to have.
We shall speak on it in private.
Very well. Lord Caswell, in either case, I do wish for your men to travel west as I continue to rally a greater host here in the east. Join House Karen's forces. You will create a greater host there. And between you and Lord Karen and any others you find sympathizing with the Blackfyre cause, make the best use of your host. If we do not chase Makar ourselves, then that will fall upon you. If House Tarley and Horn Hill comes under attack, you will be in position to defend it. And should needs have it, we will meet again at Highgarden.
Very well, my lord.
Lord Caswell, before you go, ask the men to clean Leo Tyrell up. I wish to have an audience with him later.
Very well.
Samuel kind of winces at that too, because he remembers all of a sudden how shitty he's treated Leo Tyrell. And he kind of rubs his face, thinking about the wards that he saw burn. And he says, he doesn't know. Would Lord Caswell inform him of the attempt of some bards to break Leo Tyrell out? Is that something he would have brought up?
Nobody knew that's what they were trying to do. They just attacked a couple of guards.
They attacked a couple of guards outside the cage.
It wasn't bards. It was guys dressed as Tarly soldiers.
Tarly soldiers, okay.
Yeah.
That's a problem to deal with later. He'll say, we must keep Leo Tyrell guarded and chained, but let's dress him appropriately, feed him appropriately, and treat him with respect from here on end. I will not be seen in the same light as the Targaryens.
Quite right, my lord. Very well. I'll get to it.
Thank you, Lord Caswell.
Take care, Sir Samwell, the Unburned, Defender of the Marches, Warden of the South.
He smiles at that. And it's a smile that is very prideful.
And he bows and he leaves.
Faye will watch him go and then snort laugh. Unburned, is the man blind?
I'm fine.
Mara can't help but also snort. As soon as she's fine when Faye snorts, but as soon as she says, "Is the man blind?" Mara kind of goes, covers her mouth. You just can't help but laugh.
You're going on about the figurative war here, and he's like on board. If I can give you that for free.
I like it, and Samuel does too. He holds his prideful look for several long seconds until Lord Castle's gone. He kind of snaps out of it. And he looks to Mara and he says, I'm going to rest soon. And I think you should too. I'll make sure the healers are on hand. Perhaps you can go find us some wine. And I'll speak briefly with Lady Faye in the meantime.
She may stay for this, if you wish.
I leave that up to you, Faye.
She looks slightly confused between them. She smiles at the idea of wine, but kind of looks between them. Looks at Faye. I can go if you prefer.
She'll walk up to her and kind of look into Mara's eyes, like seeing that pain there. And it's very familiar. And is she sitting or standing?
She's sitting beside Samwell.
She'll sit on the other side of her then.
Samwell stands up awkwardly. He does it. He takes a few steps towards where Heartsbane is leaning against the wall, and he just takes it and he places it back on the weapon rack that's in their tent and turns. So he opens his body up to both of them and just kind of leans back against that rack and holds his side.
It's not quite the same, is it? When they die on their knees, not fighting. My entire family left me that way, hostaged and then killed for no good reason, and everything changes.
I'm sorry, Faye. And she is. You can see when she says it, like, there is genuine, like, empathy. No,
out of that cruelty, we are led to decisions we are not ready for, decisions we don't want to make. So I understand your sorrow and your anger, and I deeply feel your need for revenge.
It's not about revenge.
Isn't it?
It's about justice.
Call it what you will. If I'm to continue helping you in this, and she'll turn to Samuel, I want two things in return. I want to meet this man you would have me call king. I've spent my entire life honoring the ghosts of men who would demand my obedience. I will no longer kneel to that which I cannot see.
Faye, he's currently somewhere in Dorne. I do not wish to ever march into Dorne again.
I'm not asking you to, just to be present when the meeting occurs.
I promise, and I will promise you this too, because I have met this Blackfyre, would-be king, and yet I am sworn to him. And I do believe that it is the right decision for the Reach, regardless of who would wear the crown, for us to swear to Blackfyre. For our houses and our families, it is the right decision. But if this Blackfyre is just another Targaryen, that is a decision, a judgment we can make together when we meet him.
Agreed. Secondly, she'll stand up and move towards him slightly. I want my revenge. I want the men responsible for killing my father and my brothers. I want Costain.
He's kind of taken aback by that. He leans back against the weapon rack, and Heartsbane rattles behind him. Costain.
You hear Mara stand up behind and come and over to the two of you.
He was responsible for giving the order. I have yet to track the trail back further.
Why would Costain do that? What
That's a
possible
question
reason?
I would very much like to ask him.
Mara looks at Samuel. I told you he couldn't be trusted.
He holds up a hand, a firm hand, and he says, if what you're saying is true, then we can ensure that justice is served in the case of your family, but it will require a trial, proof. We would have to learn more. Do you have these things?
I'm sure given a little time and a little persuasion, the man could confess himself.
I cannot promise you Costain's head on a platter.
You won't
without
need
knowing.
to. I'll take it myself. Give me my revenge, and I will give you everything you desire. If not, put me in the cage with Lord Leo. Have the entire camp see how you treat your oldest friends.
That actually, you see a flash of ire, a little bit of anger in Samuel's eyes when you say that. And he says, I'm not going to keep you from getting your revenge, Faye. But I'm not even sure what you're asking me for.
She's asking you for help, Samuel. Costain is so untouchable. And she looks at Faye and there's a genuine shock. And because Mara didn't know that Costain was involved in that, Mara just never trusted Costain. You could summon him back.
I summon him
back to answer to these allegations like
Summon him back.
Anyone else.
He won't return back from a juicy little nest egg to answer allegations against him. It suits him to be in Old Town. Summon him back for something that appeals to his ego.
Summon him back to where we are on the march. He's
Wherever
holding Old
next.
Town.
Replace him with Caswell. Caswell will enjoy that. Summon him back to help you persuade Leo Tyrell. He will enjoy the idea that you are not clever enough to do something that he can.
Here's what I can offer. When we go to Highgarden, we summon him, his people, to meet us there. And when Highgarden rallies, when we have control of the Reach, and you have more time to provide evidence, proof, then I will do anything in my power to make sure you have your justice, your revenge. Under the law.
So you will not wait, but I must. As you wish.
I can ask him to meet us at Highgarden. It is between us and him.
She'll just sit there, almost like an automaton.
You can see Mara biting the back of her tongue, watching this, seeing Faye's frustration and Samuel's too, as she almost like stands between the two of them. Sam, if this is true, if he's responsible for murdering hostages, Blackfyre hostages, and he's sitting in Old Town, not only could that ruin the image that we're trying to make, that we keep our hostages and wards safe, that Blackfyre doesn't murder people who have laid down their arms. It also means Costain can't be trusted with a treasury.
Samuel slams his fist down on the desk behind him, cracking the wood. His teeth grit in anger, and he says, I have watched men burn alive today. I have watched the actions of a prince burn these men alive. We are fighting a war that we must win. If what you say is true, then Costain will get his justice. I have seen no proof, and I cannot lose this war without evidence.
Then open
Please.
the cage.
I'm not going to put you in a cage, Faye. I'm just telling you that there's nothing I can do until we are back with Costain.
As you wish, my lord. Now that you have returned to camp, I trust that the task you set me is done and I'm released of my duties.
You may go.
And she'll just turn and walk out of the tent.
Mara walks almost to walk Faye out. And just as they're outside, she'll very gently grab your wrist just to stop you walking off for a second and gives it a squeeze and a look. And it's that kind of look that you get of like, I'll try. There's something in Mara's eyes that is like, you could probably tell that she didn't like that Samuel wasn't as receptive to helping. But she gives her that look and then lets her go.
Faye's jaw is just set and you can see the bottom of her eyes just brimming with tears that she's trying desperately to hold back, and she'll squeeze your hand back and turn and storm off.
When she goes back in, she doesn't look angry at Samuel, but she just looks at him. You didn't have to lose your temper with her. Or with me. And just walks over and kind of puts her face against the unburnt side of his chest.
I'm not sorry for what I said or how I said it, Mara. I rely on you and I rely on Faye for your judgment, your wisdom. But chasing personal revenge right now at the cost of the realm is not wisdom. I have more lives to think of than yours, mine, more feelings to think of than Faye's. We can make no mistakes now.
I didn't say what I said because I pity her. I say what I said because I am concerned about Costain and the position that he holds in this war.
Right now, without Costain where he is, we lose Old Town. If Costain's guilty, and I have no reason not to believe Faye, I trust Faye. He will get what's coming to him. But first, we will save the Reach.
She kind of gives you a half smile, seemingly, placated by what you said. But for now, you should probably go and sit down before you open up your wounds, and I will find us some wine.
Yes, thank you. I could use some wine.
She kind of points, almost like ordering back to bed, as she searches the back of this room somewhere for a wineskin that they've probably hidden in here, because it's the two of them.
I think by the time you find the wine, Samuel is asleep on the bed.
And so we leave them then. Let's have them leave then as Mara drinks alone, I guess. All right, let's fade over to this. Let's do some house action nonsense. All right. I'm sure that left you with more questions and answers about what you want to do next, but that's fine. We're going to figure out what happens next now. Susie, let's bring you in.
Hello.
That
was juicy, friends. Fucking hell. All right.
Yeah.
I can't believe. Also, I'm agreeing with Samuel. What the fuck is wrong with the world? What? I can't believe it. I know. That was Maria's whole argument. Like, there is a time for personal revenge. Now is not it. Because if we fuck up, we're all dead.
Just gave me time, if you just gave him time.
Now, she would never personally admit that to Samuel's face.
Yet.
But it's fine that you guys get it. As long as you guys get your immediate personal revenge, that's fine.
Yeah. No,
hey,
I'm with Faye.
For that.
I'm with Faye.
You go
it's a
for
tough
that.
situation.
Fuck a lot of you.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Just give me that one guy who's doing fuck all in Old Town, actually.
Hey, Mara
for that
agrees
thing that
with
we
you,
literally sat together and drank and mourned over. But it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, you play War Boys.
War Boys. That was an 80s reference no one got.
I got it.
Good.
I'm
good
old.
one.
V, did you get that? I didn't.
I don't understand any references.
Off with your collagen. Look at me. All my bits bend properly.
They don't, Millie. They don't.
Yeah, that's right.
No, they don't.
None of them.
I'm 25, but my back ages me by 10 years, okay?
Probably more, to be fair. All right. House Ironwood. Here we are. It is now 2:05. You were right.
Oh.
I looked at the Greenmont one, which is the chronology really of the campaign, and yeah, 2:04 into 2:05.
Let's go.
Happy New Year. It's the Ice Dragon as a month. So what I did on the map is I deleted Karen's army just here, and effectively in my head I've subsumed it in with yours right now, because you convinced him to like follow you guys and recognize Harris, so he's basically like a bit like Samuel had people that he could like split up and do shit with. You got Karen, so if you want them to leave, you can. But yeah, what do you want to do? You got any ideas about what you want to get up to? It doesn't have to necessarily be in the right order at the moment. We can work it out.
So Mary and Harris are going east, because we're going to go across the mountains and try and get support. Maybe scoop up some Peak boys if we can, and try and hook up with the Tarly boys. Boys here being a gender neutral term, because I've heard Makar's on his way down to destroy my life again. So I think what happened last week is I sent the Brotherhood back south and round to back to Ironwood.
Gotcha. Okay.
So sorry, the order now. To back to Ironwood to reinforce Ironwood.
Yeah.
And then Miri and Harris are going east to hook up with Tarly's and any other armies so we can squish Makar, hopefully.
Okay. Fun times. All right, so you're heading in that direction. I'm going to put you kind
Not
of
that kind of hookup, Tom.
in the
God.
middle. What Tom was this? Oh, fuck's sake. Okay.
It's
Now,
standards.
I have to confess something a little bit to all of you. So we talked about the deserters from House Peak.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I talked about them joining up with, like, the Tarleys a bit. But I don't think I ever truly accounted for them in what you were up to, Don. Because I don't have them listed in the assault.
I think what we said was that they got scooped up into House Karen outside of Fox Hollow.
Nice. That works for me, definitely.
Yeah. When we first put House Karen there, we were talking about the Peak deserters, and they would have come through that way, and House Karen would have brought them into their host.
Oh, sweet. Well, then I'll just take them with me.
You can join the boys. All right. So, you grab some Peak deserters then, I guess.
Yeah, I grab the Peak boys.
Nice. All right.
Because I've got their Master at Arms with me anyway. So
you have. Shit. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Let me check out my second Blackfyre Rebellion sheet. Okay. I need to, like this should be notes rather than a summary, right? So, Peak deserters. I'm looking at Targaryen. That's why. Peak deserters. 26 PowerPoints to play with. That's all right, that, isn't it? Joined up with Miria House. Okay. We don't have to do it now. I honestly don't mind. I don't know how entertaining it would be for people. But we don't have to do it now. We can figure out what they are, if you want. How you want to organise them as units.
I mean, I'm down for that.
Yeah. All right. What we got to think about is it would leave. Let's kind of put you here. It would leave House Peak pretty much just open for anyone to like come in and invade. Really.
To be fair, there are no Peaks left. They're literally all dead. So.
Yeah, but for all the good intentions of this episode so far, there are going to be like small folk there who rely on their lords, their noble people, and there's currently a keep with like no one running it, and so the small folk are just a bit messed up. I mean, it's beautiful, really, because when we're thinking about it, because it's communism. But
hey,
I don't know, socialism,
throwing
whatever.
off the yoke of feudalism.
Well, exactly. However, that's not necessarily how your characters think. Exactly, because you are within the system as much as you might rebel against it. So like, yeah, it's a difficult one. So like, you could, I would say you could give them a garrison back, or you could split up the forces. I was mentioning to Don before, actually, I was thinking about, a bit like Crusader Kings, there always being a garrison at places, even if it's like a green one. So there is at least a unit to fight against if you ever besiege somewhere random. And this is the thing, right, guys? You can just be like, oh, I'll just go and besiege Ashford. And I'll be like, okay, if that's what you want to do. Like, the Reach and Dawn and, wherever it is your oyster. So if you randomly decided to just, do a bit of a Crusader Kings and just besiege somewhere on the way, fine by me. And so then we'll just do it against, like, a garrison.
I've got a house in a couple of weeks before we do any of that,
That's true.
I need a house.
That's true. I mean, yeah, you might need Starpike.
I'm like, oh shit, back up.
Back up. Wait, paint it orange. Just like quick.
Black and gold don't know her. I love orange.
Quick costume change. Okay, warfare. Wait.
But there is literally no claimant to Peak, right? All the Peaks are dead.
Common knowledge says yes. I have yet to really figure that out. We're looking at long lost uncles and cousins at this point.
Yeah.
If you need some like peak colors for that costume change, I might have some back at Horn Hill.
Mary probably has
them
some.
up.
Mary probably has some in a closet of Fox Hollow because she was gonna marry into Peak.
Peak badass.
Yeah, she probably does.
Yeah.
Look,
Well,
we saved you from a bad decision, okay?
Shame I'm never going back there again.
An awesome surname.
All right. So the base power cost of stuff is 1 for green, 3 for trained, 5 for veteran, 7 for elite. And then it's modified by whatever the unit type is. So, my God, because I have to refer to these pages like all the time. I just remember what the numbers are now.
There you go.
You could have criminals, but you could get some crusaders, I guess.
Peak criminals.
Yeah.
Where's the freaking?
Infantry is like just a +4, so the base cost would be 5, then it would be 7, then it would be 9. That kind of thing.
One of the things that I've learned is that like if you want to have like actual knights, like you kind of just can't do cavalry or crusaders by themselves. You kind of have to do them together. Otherwise, they're only good at like riding on horses or fighting, not both.
Mm.
That's right, because the order are Crusader cavalry, right?
Yeah, you can't get athletics. You can't boost your athletics otherwise without doing both.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's give Peak a green garrison. I mean, I think that reflects, though, the fact that that house is in such disarray, too, right?
Yeah.
And there are still some loyal men that are like, we will protect the keep and the small folks.
Garrison
They probably
or
are just
infantry?
peasants. Ooh. My heart says garrison because it's only 2 power. No. But
Well, no, I mean, that's fine, but they'll give you a +3 discipline modifier outside of like their home.
yeah.
Otherwise, they're good.
No, yeah, let's do infantry. Because garrison pretty much have to be in the keep to be any use.
Yep. Green infantry is only going to cost you 4, 5.
Yeah.
So you've got 21 more power points to spend.
Oh. I know. What kind of units would House Peak have? Because they're not like a mountain house that would be using. Yeah, they'd be more
Knights.
cavalry, right? They'd be like proper chivalric dudes, big burly boys on horses.
Chivalric dudes.
Chivalric dudes. All right, I'll have a unit of chivalric dudes.
I mean, you know, Don's probably got the best advice here, but I agree with him. So if you did, let's go ham, right? If you did an elite, so that's 7. Cavalry is 5, so that's 12, and Crusaders you add it on top, so that's 9.
16.
And yeah, so that's only that's kind of 16 points, and you've got a top-notch cavalry unit.
Yeah, that makes sense for Peak. We'll have some elite cavalry crusaders.
Is that what we're doing? Alrighty.
Yeah, they can replace the cavalry crusaders that I sent home.
Yeah.
Like, I've just decided that Miria should be flanked by a bunch of knights at all times because she looks rad as fuck.
You've found the best 20 knights out of the deserters, and you've gone, you lot, and they've gone, yeah, cool. We are elite.
Is that how it works in the army, Sam?
Yeah.
Yes.
What you've done is you've just got a bunch of knights and been like, do me a favor, just stand behind me and look cool at all times. Like you just
cool.
You don't have an army, you have an entourage at that point, Susie.
I've gone through, they're all stood at parade rest, and I'm like, all right, whose tabards look the best? You.
Who's got weapons and maybe a horse already?
It's got like school photo day.
Yeah.
Every shot
Jenkins,
of
your
Miria,
ties on backwards.
Every shot of Miriam moving has always got these knights in the background, like like cinema scenes, like an epic cinema shot every time.
You can afford 5 more points of stuff. That could buy you
5.
green archers, trained criminals, green crusaders, which are basically infantry with a purpose. That could work. That would be kind of fitting. Green engineers, green garrison. In fact, all the 2s can be a trained. You could have trained engineers, trained garrison, trained guerrillas, green infantry. You can't really spend wealth kind of in the situation you're in. So my mercenaries are kind of out of the question. You could have green raiders. You could have green sailors. You could, well, not really sailors. That doesn't really work, does it? You could have trained scouts. You could have a green special unit, and that special unit is basically any 3 abilities that you can upgrade. And or you could have a trained support unit, which is all your healing and your animal handling and your stuff. That's about it. My, not necessarily suggestion, but my kind of gut feeling is like, where were we? Green Crusaders.
Infantry with a purpose.
And green is that they're kind of a bit of a rabble. They haven't really, fought together properly for a while.
Okay.
Or it's trained something else. Scouts, garrison, engineers, guerrillas.
Scouts and guerrillas are kind of shit, though.
They are kind of shit, yeah.
They're like a bit of a waste. Get some support, maybe. I don't know. I don't know which would be more useful. Because Myriad doesn't have any sort of followers or anything like that. She doesn't have any healers, or it's literally just like battle dressings where they needed.
Yeah.
She's not ideal. But then again, she doesn't have a huge army. I don't know, Don, help.
Having healers is really nice. I think the support unit's really good. And I imagine and I don't know, Sam, what you think about this, but like animal handling could be used for like sending out riders or ravens, right? Because animal handling gets used for ravens as well.
Yep.
And having like a unit of healers is really, really good. And would make sense as your army's growing too, right? Your host is growing.
Yeah, it's getting bigger. Makes sense. Maybe picked up some from the Karen camp. Some of their extra followers, just be like, come with me.
Train support then.
Train support.
All right, cool. Remind me, because I'm a goldfish, what happened to the Karen forces again? What are you doing with them?
I'm gonna keep them there at Fox Hollow, but as Lord Karen says, they've backed off a little bit, so they're not right up. Because I don't know. How likely is it that Marcia is going to do something stupid and send out another wave of troops to die?
I got no idea.
I think
that's down to
75% chance.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? We don't want to be on the fucking road and then just have boys pop up behind us from Greenmont and just like, no, all right, Karen can stay there. Plus, as a gesture of goodwill, in the future, if we link up with the Tallies, I can be like, look, I could have taken him. I didn't.
Is your order to maintain the kind of blockade? I mean, it's not really a blockade. There isn't really a proper siege going on.
Yeah, they're just camping, right? They're just camping on the lawn.
Camping with intent.
Camping with intent. Intense.
Yeah. Okay, cool. On your travels to or towards Summerhall, do you want to drop off any units to Starpike?
Considering what I have, nope.
Okay, I'll write that down.
I mean, I would have to like literally just because you can't like segment a unit, right?
No.
I would have to just leave all my knights that I just got at Starpike.
That's fair. Okie dokie.
I think about the bigger picture. It's mean, but
As Tom says, fuck the peasants.
That's your solution to everything. It's weird.
All right. Susie.
yes.
Do you want now? Let me read these rules properly. House and lands, house actions, house fortune. House fortune is an event that affects your lands. A house must roll for house fortune at least one month for every 3, but no more than one house fortune roll can take place for each month. You must decide at the start of each month. If you choose not to roll for a house fortune, you may instead increase any resource by 1. Otherwise, a steward or acting steward must roll a status test. Bonus die from stewardship apply, plus modifiers from holdings, and compare the result to the table. Susie, would you like to have your maester roll stewardship for House Ironwood, or would you like to improve 1 resource by 1 point?
Let me just very quickly look at the Maester stats, because we're going to be using like the generic Maester, right?
Maybe. I have a Maester in here. He may have been augmented. I can't remember. Maester. Status 3, stewardship 1 is what I've got here.
Oh, he's status 4 in here.
He's not fucking Lord, is he?
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Let me look at
Status 4. Where is the? Is there a Maester?
He's a really good maester, though.
It's a really important one.
Very important.
I mean, he's a really
written so many scrolls. Everybody
fucking
knows who
old
he is.
Maester.
Do you know there's
He's
not
really old.
there's
and
not a
he's a Lord of Light cultist, if I recall.
He is?
Yeah, he's totally
sh-
totally Lord of Light.
nice. I like that. That's cool.
Good. All right.
There's no Maester stats in the Game of Thrones edition.
Really?
Yeah. Because I know you've
Oh.
got the little. You've got the.
I've got the
small book.
I've got the pocket edition, which
Yeah.
allegedly has the errata and like folded in.
They just got rid of one of them.
Well, don't need a Maester. Maesters. Who needs them?
Don't need him. Okay. Well, I have a status 3 stewardship 1 Maester here. Do you want to roll, or do you want to improve a resource by 1?
Chat, what do I do?
Roll it, coward.
Fuck, all right.
No. Okay. Come on, chat. What do you want it to do?
Let me look at Ironwood sheet again real quick, because I don't think I can afford to lose like power if we have like a disaster.
Everyone's like,
I will
roll.
lose, boys.
Everyone
Yeah,
is
of course
like,
they
roll.
All right. Roll for it. Let's
Okay.
roll.
Roll 4, keep 3, please.
Okay. Hang on.
Oh, now I need the results, don't I?
14. I think that's a good thing.
Really?
From memory.
A 14. Oh, you got to modify it though by it's +3 at the moment for the holdings.
17.
A 17 is decline.
Fuck. Chat, you did this.
What resource would have you been looking to improve?
Hang on.
Population?
Yeah.
Influence?
Probably population. No influence, actually. That's Myria's thing right now. She's going around and being like, yo,
Okay.
I'm the Blood Royal.
Because you are not there. Oh my god, your war score is 69. Nice.
Nice.
Because you are not there, you lose influence. The house
How
loses
much
influence. Hang on. I'll tell you. Because it's in a different part of the book.
Cool.
Noble houses. Yeah, here we go. A decline reduces one resource by 1 point.
Okay.
You lose 1 influence. Okay.
It's fine.
What is your... Do you have a house action this month?
House action. What are the house actions? Let me just have a quick look. Begin project, hunt Tawny, manage resources, do a war. I mean, we're doing a war.
Yeah. You're not really. You're not really attacking anybody. So you could do other things. Something the Maester might do. Or you can leave it, to be fair. I think we left it last month.
Oh, yeah, I think we did, right?
If you're running around. Or it'd just be wage war. Wage war, wage war, wage war.
It's like a 1-for-1, right? If you move one resource to another.
No.
No? 2-for-1?
There is a chart.
Of course there is a chart, yeah.
It is 1-for-1 usually, but there are only certain ways around you that you can do it. So you can exchange influence for law 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
You can exchange lands for defense 1-to-1. You can exchange population into power 1-to-1. You can exchange power into either influence, law, or population 1-for-1. Or you can convert wealth into anything 2-for-1. 2 wealth to 1 other resource. So you can do that. If you then do a second change, then that second change is at a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-1 in the case of wealth.
Gotcha.
Because you try and do too much in too little time, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It costs you more.
Gotcha. Oh, also, well, remember, I have 2 glory to invest.
Hello.
So I think I need to check something very quickly. Would, as a question here, would me acquiring some sort of such things as big pots of fucking hot oil to drop on Makar's stupid face, would that be a project, or is that just like something I can just buy and just do?
With warfare, you can boiling oil or water is half a wealth point of resource per use. So you can buy 2 uses of boiling oil for 1 point of wealth.
Okay.
Or essentially 1 glory.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm definitely gonna buy some of that to defend my castle.
Okay.
Deals 10 damage ignoring AR. Oof. Mean.
Are you investing your glory into that? Or are you actually investing the wealth itself?
I'm gonna put my glory into power and then use some of my wealth to buy the oil.
How much glory?
Both glory. 2
into power there. So you're now on 21. And wealth, you're going to reduce that by how much?
Let's reduce it by Because it's half per use. So let's just reduce it by 1. And then I've got 2 uses of it.
Yeah. All right. Invested in boiling oil.
Because I
2
feel like that's what
uses.
Miria's orders would have been carried with the order is prepare for an attack. So make sure that the castle's defenses are get all the small folk, ready to go at a moment's notice inside the keep. Get the pots ready, dig little tactical trenches. Because everyone always forgets how important trenches were in medieval warfare. So yeah.
What did we say was missing in terms of wealth? Because it looks like it's meant to be 30, but you've only got 27 holdings.
I spent 3 wealth on units last time. I equipped the boys better.
So the Boneway Bazaar is 10 wealth. Port Red Rock is 5 wealth. Ironwood Small Town isn't wealth, so that's fine.
Okay.
Mace Dorian is another 5 wealth. So
that's
that
20.
Actually equals 20.
Oh, I'm fine now. I've got a... Okay.
So you could actually start a project to invest in something else, but it's probably not the best time.
Probably not the best time to start a project, no.
I was just checking if you could, with that 2 more power, actually upgrade a unit. I think you can.
I think I can, the garrison, right? Because the garrison is green.
It's a trained garrison, power of 5.
Balls.
If you... Hang on a second. 110. If they're a trained garrison, that's 3 and 2. Yeah, 5. You can upgrade them to veteran if you want to with that 2 extra power.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I think if we're going maximum defense, upgrade the garrison. Because the vultures are there not to necessarily be a fighting force. They're more there to harry and provide intel.
Why is that like that? What abilities would you like to upgrade? You can upgrade awareness. Oh, hang on a second. Just those. They're currently awareness 3, endurance 3, and fighting 3, and you can upgrade any of those. So you can upgrade. You can get 2 upgrades.
Okay, 2 upgrades.
I think.
Let's get the fighting and endurance up.
Okay, so fighting 4 and endurance 4 is going up, which puts their... It doesn't increase their fighting damage, but it does increase their health to 12. That's very good indeed. Very cool. If you've got wealth, you could upgrade their armor.
Yeah, fuck it, why not? I've got the cash to burn while I've got it. Can't spend it when you're dead.
Garrison, their AR, you can put their AR up to 5 from 3.
Yeah.
Their armor rating. Or their fighting damage at the moment, athletics +2. Yeah, so they're at the moment they're basically equipped, both in attack and defense.
Okay, they're already equipped. All right. What
No,
about?
No, they're not upgraded. That's what I mean.
Right.
They got basic equipment.
Gotcha. And it costs like 1 per thing, right?
Yes. Yeah. Hang on.
All right. Yeah, I'll just pump money into those boys too.
Equipping units. Equipment upgrades, here we are. Each point, permanently spending points from your wealth. Each point spent on a unit increases its AR, its fighting damage, or its marksmanship damage.
Okay, let's spend 2 and upgrade their armor and attack.
Okay.
Like, we are full on, like, we want to make these boys the best they can be.
Yeah. That's super cool.
That's the only way.
Okay.
I imagine Miria sent them back with like an extreme training regimen. Orders to the Mesa to just spend all the fucking money.
So that would be 7 minus 3 would be defense
Look,
4.
we've got to look our best for the prince. It would be rude to show up shabby.
Fighting damage has gone up to athletics +2, so 4.
Cool.
Very nice. And their discipline goes difficulty of their discipline is reduced as well.
Sweet.
So it's easy by standard, and as their garrison, so it's a 3. So the discipline is a 0 at home, so it's automatic even if they're disorganized, and it's a +3 if they're away from home.
Cool. That's pretty good. That's not bad at all.
That's pretty snazzy. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. A 6 away from home. But 6 on a warfare test is like fine. Oh, very good. All right. Very nice indeed. Okay.
Okay. Right.
Anything else you want to do at this juncture? Because what I'm thinking is let's find out what the others want to do, and then if you meet in the middle, fantastic. We've got an episode next, and we know exactly where we are. Or if they want to march elsewhere or do other things, then we'll figure that out too. But yeah,
I will say, Mary did have a letter sent via Lord Karen to the Tallies, being like, "Hey, Maekar's headed to fucking Ironwood. This is a problem as Blackfyre army is in Dawn. We don't want to give him that corridor into Dawn. Also, hi, I'm coming. I'm on my way."
You've got advance notice. Okay.
Hugs and kisses. Love your best sis.
XOXO. It's that Stannis letter. It wasn't my beloved brother.
It's to Samwell specifically?
No, it's addressed to Mara. Because I did say that tell Lady Mara that her sister is coming for a visit.
All right. Cool.
Which I'm sure Mara doesn't know that Myria doesn't know that Mara killed her fiance. So I'm sure Mara's like, oh, fuck, what does this mean?
Either that or she's like assuming it's fine. Like, oh, maybe she didn't like him after all. Maybe she's pleased.
I hear you, V.
I feel like in the grand scheme of things that Mara's thinking, oh shit, she probably doesn't even think about like the relation between Ellery and Myria coming to visit. Like she's just like, okay, so Myria, right? I have to tell her now. I have to tell Marzia that her son is dead, and Myria that her brother is dead.
Sorry, it's not my brother. It's fine.
Oh,
Myria never got attached to Demon Baby. Now, if anything happened to Bryn, the world would know about it. But she didn't know Demon Baby.
Yeah, but it's Myria. Don't even give me that, like she wouldn't care.
it's something else to listen to angry music about.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Any more letters? He says with gritted teeth.
We're definitely going to be sending out a letter. The question is whether or not Faye would be willing to basically take on writing it after their previous conversation.
Ooh, yeah, that's
I'll come to you lot in a minute, specifically for Myria. Are there any more fucking letters?
Yes. So
God's
there's
sake.
a letter. No. This is like just generic letters being like, the prince is headed to come his way through Dawn. It's the houses that she made connections with her first letter blast and ones that she received positive receptions from. She's like, I'm going to need some boys because this is going to be one of the decisive battles of the war, she's saying.
Okay.
So it's the
feel
call
like
to
you're
arms,
all-
calling the banners.
Oh god. I feel like this is how you're all like framing this now. Squaring up to Maekar is the thing.
Yeah. Well, he's the fucking anvil. He is one of the princes of the realm. Like,
Yeah, and the hammer's on the way down too.
yeah, but the hammer is elsewhere right now. Maekar's here.
Yeah. Okay, Myria to banners. Maekar.
Maekar's coming help.
Okay.
But like tougher than that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put in my spreadsheet and roll that for you all. Okay. All right, Tarly folks and guests. What's the plan generally?
Should we do you want us to do house actions for House Tarly?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So what do we roll for time passing?
Okay. So for you can. Oh wait, did I even? Oh, I didn't sort this out yet properly. But it's okay. We can just fill it in manually. We didn't do anything for Strangers Month.
No, I don't think I've rolled house action or house time passing, whatever that's called.
That's fine. We'll leave it as is.
That's called time.
Time.
All right, we got the icy dragon. You have a choice. You can either have Papa Tarly roll status stewardship to manage the house. That's a house fortune roll. So there is a greater opportunity for benefits, but there is also the swing of that is that there could be worse drawbacks. Sure. Or you could just say that this is the second month that we're not rolling, and next month you have to roll. And if you decide that, then this month you can guaranteed increase at one resource by 1 point. But everyone likes you to roll.
I'm trying to think about the narrative. I mean, I want to roll, but is Glendon Tarly well enough to manage the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't just want to leave him conspicuously ill for ages. I think he's coming around.
Right. Yeah, he's coming back. Okay. He's probably in bed and people are coming to his chamber and he's yelling at them to do things. Okay.
Let the roll decide that. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'll roll. I love rolling. So what do I roll for Glendon Tarly?
Sir Glendon Tarly. Where is he? I had him here somewhere.
Oh, he exists.
He does. He's here. I see him. Wait, he has stress. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never good when Sam does that.
I don't like it when Sam laughs like that.
You caused that stress. That was an intrigue, and he was like, no. And they had the stress, right?
He had stress. So cool. I think it was because, if I remember right, it's because we were like, no, we're not invading Dorne. We're going to move this army, turn this army back around, and go have a trial.
All right. I think that's well out the window now. Okay, let's get rid of that. It's not meant to hang around for too long.
Consequences.
I think the grand scheme of things,
he's still in debt, so
turning a host around is probably not the thing that's stressing him out the most at the moment.
I gave him all the hearts.
I just want him to tell Samuel he's proud of him.
It's never gonna happen, Don, because now you said it.
What for?
He's acting Lord Paramount of the Reach.
Is he though?
That's what the letters say.
He's just some bird dude shouting at ladies in a tent.
Oh my god. All right.
He's cool to me, Don.
All right, kebab boy.
You're rolling. Don, you're rolling 4 dice and keeping all 4 of them.
Okay. 13.
And then it's modified by your holdings. So it says a +3 on the main sheet, but let me just check this. Upgrades, warfare upgrades. I've got
a small castle.
Congratulations. That doesn't give you any bonuses, unfortunately. What have you got at the moment in terms of
hills, pond?
Law is amazing. It's usually wealth holdings that give you good stuff for House Fortune.
Oh wow, those are all my modifiers. Yeah, so I get a +16 modifier. Am I doing that right?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Where are we here?
it says modifier under law.
That's all the costs.
Oh, yeah. That's
House
the
fortune
cost.
modifier for law here is -1.
Minus
But I don't think
1.
that's right because you've got a very high law now. So 31's pretty high.
Oh, yeah, that's probably not
And with a wealth of 25, did you spend all of that on warfare equipment?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. All right. So you guys don't have anything but an army. That's quite appropriate, I guess.
We're all in. Yeah, we're all in on this war. I get a +1 modifier for population for House Fortune.
Yeah, I was going to check all of these. So just call out your putting it all together. Call out your law is 31.
31.
So that's a -1 modifier to House Fortune rolls.
Okay.
What's your population?
28.
That is a +1 to House Fortune
so I got it
rolls.
right.
So it's a
it
flat
kind of
0.
cancels each other out.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a what did you roll?
13.
13.
Which seems auspicious.
A 13 is decline.
Okay.
Soz. He wasn't that well in the end.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think influence probably works here too. It probably makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Because like his influence, Glendon Tarley's influence is less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you still got any glory that you want to invest?
I've got 3, but I want to wait to see what I invested into.
Okay.
Because there's some like different options. What about so my plan was to wait at least a week before we move anywhere, if we move anywhere,
Sure.
so that we can heal and kind of regather our army and send out any letters. Can we make some healing rolls? Is that something we can do?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. And I think the healers would definitely tend to Mara as well.
I don't know how to make healing rolls. I don't understand anything to do with combat or that comes after combat in this game.
I think it's a challenge 9, since we're staying camped, and the healers get 4d6 to healing.
So I just roll 4d6.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
17.
Ooh, that's really good.
Let me check the difficulties. So
I have a wound, if that's...
Yes. So wound, no fighting, riding, or physical activity. So if you're sedentary, that is a successful test removes 1 wound, so it's removed for you, Mara. And you can remove an additional wound for every 2 degrees of success. A 9, so it'd have to be a 19 to be 3 degrees, which would net you the 2. And a 17 for you is the same result, Don. So you can remove 1 wound at the end of that week.
I get all my health back, right?
Yeah. It's like stress in 220. It comes
Is it
back
every
at the
2
beginning
degrees or every 2 additional degrees?
You may remove an additional wound for every 2 degrees of success.
So that's 2 and 4.
Yeah, I guess you could read it either way, but yeah, I'd probably say that every 2 degrees of success. Yeah, 2 and 4.
Okay. Yay. So Samuel's doing a lot better by the end of the week.
A lot better.
And he's found whoever is the best at cutting hair in the camp, and he's made his choppy short hair the best, like, military kind of Westerosi buzz cut that he possibly can.
Just making Susie do more artwork. Nah.
No, I spent a long time painting those curls. You're stuck with them.
He's got very quick growing
That's how he likes to remember
hair.
himself.
Oh, you give him a side shave.
Okay, cool. So I guess then the next question before we kind of decide like what we're actually doing and where to invest glory and stuff is like, would Faye take on drafting a letter to the realms to kind of spin the story the way that we want it to be spun?
After that conversation,
yeah,
she will do whatever Samuel asks her to, but it's just business now. And whether or not she will advise him well remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen.
It's just like, okay, like it might be like she sees him write a load of stuff and it's just like, yeah, looks fine, and just walks off. She'll do what he asks, but he is giving her precisely nothing. So as far as
it's a cold shoulder.
Yeah, it's
week.
like, okay, this is business now. You've made it perfectly clear how you want this to be.
Oof. I love that.
Is Faye doing the thing where it's like, I have a job to do and I will do the bare minimum. What are you going to do? Fire me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. It's like, I opened up to you. I did the thing you asked. I opened up to you and told you the one thing that fucking mattered, and you shouted in my face and told me no. So, I guess I'm just a hostage now.
Yeah, I think Samuel during this week too, just like, generally narratively is like maybe slightly more kind and checking in with Faye than he normally would be. Yeah. But any resistance and he backs off.
I don't think there wouldn't be resistance.
And just be cold.
She's if you'll let me do it narratively, Sam, I think she's like befriended one of the higher ranking archery dudes, and she's just like, you show me how to do this properly. And that's just all she's doing now.
I love that.
Like day and night, just fucking exhausting herself just over and over, just focusing on that because she can't think about the rest of it.
Here's something fun. Is there a specialty that you invested in that you have never used?
Ooh, I don't know, actually. I mean, up until last episode, I don't think I'd used archery.
Because we're getting to a point in the game where we've kind of given up so much XP. I'm going to get to the point where it's like, okay, if you want to increase something, you decrease something else that you just haven't used.
Oh, that's smart. Okay.
There's a few other games that do it, and I prefer that so much more than exponential growth in XP. Like you never get bad at anything.
Yeah.
Like I can't play the trumpet like I used to. Come on. This is my hot take.
Yeah.
XP shit. I hate it. But yeah, if there is a specialty that you have never used but you've invested a bonus die in.
She doesn't really have that many specialties, to be honest.
No, that's fair. Even if you use it once or twice, if you can make a case for it, I think that would be cool.
I mean, she's got taunt. She doesn't really use it. It's kind of part of her character, but yeah, she's never really used that. But that's kind of
You could downgrade one bonus die from that to put one bonus die into bows, if you want.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. All right. Now watch all of them come for me later when they want to fucking lower a specialty die. I'm telling you now, they're all going to be at it soon.
I like my current setup. Okay. Yeah, so I guess the first thing is during that first week, Samuel probably spends a couple of days really recovering. He used a lot of energy as soon as he woke up, but I don't think that he was in good enough shape to really push forward. Letting Caswell and kind of run the scene for a couple of days. And once he starts getting better, he starts getting more energetic. He gets back out with the men. He's trying to raise the mood again and work on this letter with Faye, sending her drafts and trying to get her opinion on the letter. And his goal is basically send out another blast, just like he did before they left Horn Hill. But he wants to make it clear what the prince did at Summerhall, how he burned his own wards, how he burned his own men, and he's going to, this is the tough one. I think he believes that the prince is dead. Okay. The prince even burned up himself in madness. And basically the idea of the letter is war is coming to the Reach. We must, and to the Stormlands too, because we're right there. We must rally against the Targaryens. Their madness and their reign has come to an end. If we do nothing, then how long is it until the vassal keeps burn, until the Targaryens burn their other allies or burn their enemies? If they'll do this to their own people, there's nobody they won't do it to. And that's the kind of message that he's casting, and he's trying to rally more allies to Blackfyre, just like he did before, but now he's around Summerhall. So he's hoping that maybe like people who are closer to Summerhall might be spooked out by this based on their proximity.
Will he show this letter to Mara?
Yeah, he's definitely drafting this with Mara, Faye, and Caswell.
Mara would definitely advise him not to voice his thoughts about the prince being dead, because in her mind, as long as he is still alive, and she doesn't know enough about what happened to know if he did burn in there.
There's a boogeyman out there.
Yeah. So that is the thing. She's like, if he's still alive, we can't prove that he's dead. So maybe he is. There's a good chance he's Ash in Summerhall. But if he's still alive, that is something for people to fear that rallies them to us, because, the prince might show up at your house and, throw wildfire at you next. So you can be with us, or you can sit in your keeps waiting for the Targaryens to show up and see if they show up to bring you into their army or burn you down. Like that would be Mara's advice.
Faye would pipe up in support of that, but for totally different reasons. She was like, remember that bit before this battle where you almost wrote to Lady Marcia and went, hey, we've got your son. How great would that have looked if you'd spoken out on that before it was ready? Maybe don't say people are dead so people don't trust you when it turns out to not be true.
And Samuel's response is like probably blustered and like, I know he's dead. I saw him. I saw him burn. Like he's so sure, but he will say, basically, but we can leave that out of the letter. People don't need to know that. But he's dead. He's dead.
Mara probably does the whole,
Definitely
yes,
dead.
dear, okay, we believe
dead.
you. Like, I believe you, he's dead, but nobody else is going to believe us yet. So let's just leave that one out until the Targaryens panic about where their prince is.
Like, because it's true, it doesn't mean you need to say it.
I think he'll too, like he'll even speak in one of the drafts of the letter, and if they advise him to change things, like he will. But in one draft of the letter, there's a whole section about a brief section about the story of House Greenmont and Werlin Greenmont. He even gets like a local, like one of the small folk who's can draw, draws like the broken toy on the bottom of the letter. He shows
Mara
that to Mara
will
Faye.
take this draft. I'm imagining Mara and Faye sitting there with quills, like together, just going.
No,
redlining.
No.
But upon this, just takes this and very lovingly just looks at Samuel, just folds the letter up and just like puts it in the pile of like things that we've said no to. Yeah. And just is like, no.
So that's probably a good portion of the week is drafts of this letter, or like part of the week at least is drafts of this letter to try to gain support. And then I would love to, I'd love to try to gain support.
Well, beautifully, I've got some mechanics for this if you remember them. So
yeah, we did this once before.
We did, yeah. This is going to be status. But I'm willing to hear from you if there is a specialty you think better applies than reputation.
Yeah, I mean, I can make an argument for a few things. I can make an argument for breeding. That like, because House Tarly is like, it's like House Tarly and House Tyrell, right? Like those are the major houses in the Reach.
Yeah.
And he is, and he is the acting paramount right now. So like I can make an argument for breeding. I can make an argument for strategy. I can make an argument for maybe convince.
I think convince is pretty strong. I like strategy.
do Mara or Faye lend any bonuses to this?
That's true. Yeah. Does their help actually help me?
Yes. You can. Each of you can lend half of your language's rank, rounded down.
Can I make an argument for persuasion?
You could try, but you are gunning for your highest stat.
Yeah, but that is Mara's whole viewpoint on this, is that she wants people to read this.
I think this is going to max me out with language or persuasion, honestly.
Yeah, that she wants people to believe that this means the Targaryens will, like, the point we're trying to get across is they will do this to anyone, and that is what Mara believes at this point, because, you know, they're burning wards and children, and you know, there are you're supposed to protect your wards, you're supposed to protect your children, and she knows that as soon as you start playing on people's children and families, like to noble families, that's a big deal, protecting your sons.
Yeah. Okay, you're persuasive.
I would like to make a case for Faye not actually lending any bonuses to this, because she will stop him saying outright dumb shit, but she is not going to use her persuasive power to help him persuade people of something that she doesn't believe.
Yeah, so V, you can lend half your persuasion rank rounded down as a flat modifier. So +2 to this, and remember Sam's ignoble.
I'm going to invest a glory into this roll. One of my 3 glory.
+1 keep dice.
So it's going to be roll 5, and then I'm using convince or strategy.
I'll take either. I'll let
They're
you
the same bonus for me.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
So 8d6 keep 4.
Also,
2.
yeah, that's right.
+2. Okay. And what's my DC here?
The base difficulty is 15, and then it is modified based on where people are.
Let me think about this. It's an average of 4.5. 22 is the average roll here currently.
And here we see how Jonathan Fry's brain works.
Oh yeah, every time.
Narrated out loud. This is fascinating.
But you know what? We still nail his monsters in round 1 in Dark Sun.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
All right. I mean, this is literally I can't roll any higher by spending more glory. So let's just do it. A 19.
Okay. All right. Let's see who is nearby. Old Lightning Fork is nearby. Dondarrion. I think they already declared as Targi.
I can't win Dondarrion over.
And they were Targi before, which is a 20.
Okay.
Here's where I'm willing to nudge something, though. This is what I've been trying to make sense of. I changed Will from... they were Targaryen, so by the numbers, this shouldn't have much effect on them. But I've got Blackfyre here in my house actions list, and they've just got Maekar on their doorstep right now.
And they are also... We made friends with them.
And you made friends with them, very importantly. So I would love to reward that by... And obviously I'm describing basically what's, behind the screen here, right? But, I would love to reward that so that all of these little things have added up, and, they're about to be all like, yeah, go through, and then this letter arrives, and, Summerhall's burnt, and they're like, well, this doesn't look good, does it? So you've just blown up Summerhall, and killed all your wards. Fuck you, man. So that's cool. So there's going to be a bit of a scrap there, I think, unfortunately, for House Will. Have I put them on the roster? I don't think I have. All right, so let me add them then.
Who knew that lying to House Will about something which turned out to be true would work in our favor.
Yeah, I haven't got Will in here yet. So Will's defense is 34. They've got a keep. They're all right.
That's a solid army.
Their willpower is 40. Hello.
Oh.
So that's changed Blackfyre's numbers a little bit. War score is now only minus 15%.
Nice.
We're doing it.
Nice.
We're getting there.
And you said did we get any of the people around us in the Stormlands?
I haven't filled in much of the Stormlands on our map, right? But let's have a little look at what we do have. So I'm going to be jumping around behind me and then looking on online to see who's who. But around here by Cape Wrath, who's at Stonehelm? Susie, you can help me here.
Hang on.
Bit of googling. Stonehelm. Here we go. House Swan. Oh my god. Have you seen their heraldry?
No.
What is it?
It's a black swan and a white swan, and then the background colours are they're negative of that. And they're like fighting each other. They're like barking at each other. Battling swans, black and white.
Are we sure their swans are not geese? Because if it was geese, that would be beautiful.
Swans, apparently.
Swan and a goose just fucking...
They're Marcher Lords ruling from Stonehelm. Did I put a Marcher Lord modifier in here? I feel like I should have, because the Marcher Lords were a whole, thing. Surrounding Red Watch on Cape Wrath, the Eastern Dawnage Marches. Okay. Story time. History Swan is an old noble house regarded as proud, powerful, and cautious. They have governed their lands as long as they can remember. From Stonehelm, they control the Slain, a major river route inland from the Stormlands, gaining them much power and wealth. They're probably the second most powerful and influential family in the Stormlands after the Baratheons. The Swans and the Carons both claim to be the oldest of the Marcher Lords. Sometime after driving away the pirate presence in the Stepstones, the Lyseni captains of the Triarchy began claiming passengers. Okay, Dance of Dragons, Sir Byron Swan was killed by Syrax or Vagar. Susie, which dragon was that? Which side of that was that?
I don't fucking know.
Who fucking knows?
What was it again?
Vagar was ridden by Visenya and Syrax was ridden by Rhaenyra. So literally both sides.
Either of fuck's sake. Okay, that doesn't help me at all. Lord Gawain Swan's Fool was the one who named Materys Targaryen the even younger prince. Gawain competed in the tourney of Ashford Meadow as an old man, losing to Prince Valar Targaryen. Gawain ignored Dunk's direct request to join him in the Trial of the Seven. So Eustace Osgrey, famed Blackfyre supporter, boasted that in the past, members of important families married Osgreys, citing the Swans as one of those examples. I'm clutching at straws here, but basically, I'm going to give you the -3 modifier for neighbor/ally, because they're an old ally because they're a Marcher Lord, right? But they're a different realm, but nearby, which is a +5. Except they're not of a different realm in the Stormlands. If you're sending this from Summerhall, let's. All right, House Swan has entered the chat. Okay, House Swan has entered the chat.
So now we have 2 of the 3 major Stormlander houses, right? It's just House Baratheon.
Yeah.
Cool. Who even likes the Baratheons? I mean, honestly, I'm
going to have to add these, because I haven't rolled for these guys. I'm going to have to add them in after today.
I'm waiting for Pope to pop up and be like, excuse the fuck out of you.
Excuse me.
So beyond that, sending out the letter, rallying allies, trying to build the host, right? Because I think some of the hosts might splinter off. Samwell's kind of actually determined because he doesn't want to get himself into a hammer and anvil situation. He grew up during the Blackfyre Rebellion He knows that forces will be coming from the north. He knows that Highgarden is still tenuous, like he doesn't have their armies aren't with him. So I think his goal is going to be to try to send support to his secondary host. Doesn't know that House Ironwood's with them. Oh wait, no, he got a letter, right? You sent a letter?
Yeah.
That changes things. That helps a lot. So how long is the ride from Fox Hollow to Summerhall?
Sometime.
I mean, is it a week or is it like a month?
This downtime, you could do it in this downtime. The ride is going to be quicker than like the full march with an army, right?
That's right, and that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't think he'd wait. I really want it. Like, I would love to, but I'm in the meta. Like, if other people really want like us to hold on so that we hook up with Miria here at Summerhall before going down south, we could do that. Strategically, Samuel would probably send House Caswell or have House Caswell hold the grounds of Summerhall. Wait for Ironwood and House Miria, or House Miria and House Ironwood. It is House Miria.
Basically House Miria at this point.
Yeah, it's House Miria. And he would. I think Samuel's intention is to march west along the road towards Highgarden and continue to rally the houses if they have resistance at small keeps. Try not to kill them, but basically like give them the ultimatum, do what they did at Fox Hollow and try to build his host as he marches west towards Highgarden. That's his intention. But I'm open to
I don't see why you
input.
couldn't. I don't see why we couldn't have, for narrative reasons, Miria just finding you guys along the way.
Yeah.
The thing I was also about to say was that, if you're actually taking your host with you, then obviously you're going to, I think, really cover a shorter distance. What you have just done is also won over House Meadows, which is just to your northwest. I didn't have them on the sheet before, and I had a little look about, like, I was like, who's that keep on my little map on the wall? And then it turns out I've already got them on there, House Meadows.
Is it the one that kind of looks like a medal?
The green with all the flowers around it.
Okay. What's so I know like, we have
Ashford is the medal.
There. Ashford's the medal. And what's Ashford's current position in this war?
Ashford is Targaryen.
Okay. Yeah, so if we don't sway Ashford, then they would be first stop to roll over or force them to surrender. Like they would be a stop on the road.
Oh, and they were just doing a tawny too. There's this weird tall knight that showed up. It's
so weird.
Let's meet up
at this
Ashford.
point. He's still like 12 or 13 at this point. It's not really fair to canonically kill him yet. Uncanonically.
Yeah. Well, I've put Starpike only a stone's throw away from Ashford.
Oh, cool.
So there we go.
So we could all meet up outside Ashford.
Yeah. And so we could do like Siege of Ashford next, basically. Nice.
Miria doesn't even have to try and find us. She can just see us from where she is, moving with all of these people.
I can just find you at the foot of the castle of the man that she kind of loved, that you murdered. Poetic.
We've both got really big armies.
Yeah. So I think it's in everyone's interest if we just say hello, shake hands, and go our separate ways.
Sit opposite, like Miria and Mara, opposite ends of the war council tables.
Really wishing I hadn't volunteered to be an intermediary now. This is going to be the most awkward passing notes.
Faye's never seen Miria and Mara in the same room. They can't talk to each other without arguing.
Do you know that bit in season 8 where Arya comes out of fucking nowhere with the knife? That's Miria when she sees Mara. It's out of nowhere.
Every time I watch that scene, I punch the wall. I get so excited.
From out of downtown.
Okay, so let me get this straight with Caswell. He's marching west to then meet up with Karen's.
if we got the letter from Miria, then I think the idea is
or he's holding Summerhall.
Yeah, we would send a writer to try to find them and say, like, we're marching, we're rallying the host, we're marching to Ashford, meet us at Ashford, and once we take that keep, we can discuss what happens next.
Okay, nice. And Caswell is holding Summerhall.
No, he would come with us.
Okay.
Summerhall's burned to the ground. I was going to leave him there so like Miri could kind of wander by on her way to the Bone Way, but it looks like we're going to cross paths anyways.
Okay, cool.
During this week, Sam, Mara does want to send a letter to Fox Hollow.
Mm-hmm.
To Marcia. Well, she, at very least, it would be forwarded to House Karen, who are there to deliver to Marcia.
Cool.
Probably before we send out the mass letters, she'd want that one to go out first, so that Marcia isn't finding out secondhand about Whelan's death.
Do we send the toy? Do you send the toy?
I think she probably would, because that would be the proof, right?
Serial killers really collecting items. Like, here's the proof.
I think it's like partly that is, mostly that is the proof, but also Mara probably doesn't want that around. And she can't bring herself to get rid of it. So that is the easiest way, is to send it with the letter. But that she'd probably send that out the same, like while Samuel's fallen asleep, Mara pours herself a glass of wine and writes that letter and sends it with somebody to Karen to be forwarded on to Marcia.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Is there anything else you want to do, V? Either in the week that you have here or the few weeks travel that you have from Summerhall in the army?
So there is one question that I have, is that presumably once the chaos of that particular day kind of comes to an end, there's going to be the kind of, taking count of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do we find out that Sir Dennis and Peter are missing? Because
presumably somebody...
Yeah, it's, presumably that after the tent is set fire, there is going to be a bit of a question about, these Tarly men that apparently attacked guards. It probably wouldn't be difficult to work out that they are in fact not Tarly men, because they won't be the bodies won't be recognized by anybody.
I think there's only one body, and I rolled really good for that disguise.
I mean, there's a big army. Knowing every single man. I do think that between the fires and the attack against the guards outside the cage and the missing young Lord Hightower or Highgarden, Tyrell, that security would be beefed up. Absolutely, security would be beefed up.
Sure.
But I don't think that Samwell's position is probably like, people are opportunists. They think if I can get myself one of these wards and get out of here, I can ransom them off and make some money and provide, he probably doesn't think it's a conspiracy, but he's taking less chances.
Okay. If we find out that Sir Dennis is missing, at least for Mara, that would make her not necessarily suspicious of Faye, but there'd definitely be some
That's a conversation,
there.
Right?
Yeah.
That is Mara going, hey, Faye, where's your knight?
Exactly where he fucking should be.
I do.
So maybe that's probably more of a juicy thing to have on screen if they have that conversation. But definitely it's, it might come to light over that travel that Mara notices, or it's very clear that Sir Dennis is not around because she's not keeping tabs on him. That would be,
well, that could very well be clear. It depends on what happens to Sir Dennis, which means, Millie, I need to resolve this with you now as a kind of a downtime thing, right? So, you, the best of my recollection, got him to do a runner with the kids because you sent him off and then you went to look for Mara.
Yeah, it's Sir Dennis, Peter, Tyrell, and all of the Mummer spies from the Tarly host are all heading to Highgarden. And at the same time, the spy from Old Town is returning to Old Town via Golden Grove.
All right, let's get that PDF out of Strife and Prosperity, and I'll have a look at the spy network for you. Okay, spy cell. I'm looking for. I'm looking for their relocation thingy. Spies can be shifted around to new locations as a house action, as a status stewardship test. A challenging 9 difficulty. Each degree of success moves one cell of spies to a new location, requiring the entire month to make the shift, during which time they grant no connections. Failure in this role results in the loss of that cell. So I need you then to make me a status stewardship test.
Okay.
With a difficulty of 9.
Okay.
And you do have a bonus die in your frame.
Nah, let's see what happens. 18.
That is 3 degrees of... No, I'm being an idiot, right? 2 degrees of success. Just shy of 3. Okay. So with 2 degrees of success, you do successfully move those 2 cells. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on the GM layer.
Oh, no. Wait, the Old Town spy is not moving. The Old Town spy is just going back to Old Town. I would like to move one of my other cells, if that's okay. But he's just fucking off back to where he came from.
So, okay, yeah. So I'll put it back over here. So which cells are you moving?
I am... Okay, so the ones from Tarly Camp are going to High Garden.
Cool. So they won't be available this month. They'll be available next month.
Old Town dude's just going home via Golden Grove. I don't know if I need a specific role for that.
That was that specific spy, right?
Okay, actually, because... I did have plans that I was going to do interesting things with the other cell from Hornhill, but I don't trust Samuel anymore, so I'm going to leave him there.
Okay. Okay, and then I suppose, then with the spies, and because you rolled successfully, they get Sir Dennis and they get Peter back to Highgarden. But yeah, absolutely, you both, Mara and Sam, will, and whoever points out to them will notice that Sir Dennis is gone, and would you fucking believe it, little Lord Peter is gone as well.
I want it to be Gregor that tells us for no reason other than I like Gregor and we haven't seen enough of him this season. Like, it's the kind of thing that I feel like you just blurt out, not even thinking about it. And then it would be oh, wait, no, that's actually really useful information. Why didn't you tell us that sooner?
All right, it's canon now. He just points it out one day.
The other thing...
Oh, sorry.
Mara is still waiting to see if a letter comes back from the one that she sent to Alistair. Because obviously that was sent while they were still at Hornhill and nothing arrived before they left. So,
and you sent that to Old Oak, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. You haven't received any reply back from Old Oak.
Okay. What happened with the whole Hightower situation? Do we know about anything yet?
Yeah, it's and it's kind of, I think it's a veil or it's something for us in terms of the topic. But so you learn from Hornhill whilst you're on the march that Hightower has walked off one of the Hornhill walls, one of the top walls, and has committed suicide, effectively, leaving his succession in a bit of a questionable place, really. Although, I presume he's got a son.
Yeah,
I tell you what, we got. Hang on, have I still got the role for Marcia's birth, maybe? No?
Well, no, Sam, if you think back, because Hightower's, it was Simon's like old flame was a Hightower, and she had a younger brother because Simon basically told her that he was a spy in front of the little brother.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so he's now totally in charge of Hightower and is at Hightower. So now there's a conflict going on there, I guess, in terms of who should be in charge.
Versus him, right?
Costain versus
down.
Yeah,
and
Costain
all the
versus
with his armies.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Samuel, the wording of your initial declaration did state legally that Costain was only in charge until Lord Hightower could resume his duties. So that's unfortunate.
Well, I'm going to have to talk to Jason. Because Jason's kind of pulling the strings back there. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And there's that letter going now from Golden Grove to Old Town.
Okay.
Mm.
You have to write that one up for me.
Trying not to burn down the Reach. I'm trying.
Not succeeding.
Try harder. All these letters could have been loads more convincing, and you could have had spies in King Targaryen's camp.
All a bunch of shady bitches, you know?
He doesn't know that you have spies.
No. You should just be nicer to people. Just generally.
Was burned alive. Watched a bunch of people die terribly.
I was burned alive invading someone's home.
Wow. So I was going to ask, do you want to use any of your connections in this downtime to get some info?
Who have I got that's usable? Because one's on the move.
Old Town and Horn Hill.
Yeah.
The two that are on display for you, you've got.
Yeah. Let's play.
Let's play.
I don't have a sense of impending doom at all. It's fine.
Okay, so that's the initial investment. A cell may occupy a single domain. It's possible for multiple cells to operate in a single domain, granting a +3 bonus to your connection rolls. Each time the connection benefit of a cell of spies is employed, it requires a cunning test to determine whether those being spied upon discover this fact. Okay. The invocation of this benefit is done during the house action and is not considered a house action. Yeah. So, you would effectively be rolling a what is like an info gathering roll, which is knowledge streetwise. And when you have the connections benefit, it grants you something. I don't know if you've written it down, but I can find it.
No.
That's fine. So connections gives you +1 dice, +1 keep dice on all knowledge tests made while in your chosen location. So you can temporarily up your knowledge by 1 at the moment just for these couple of rolls.
Okay. So it's a cunning test first, did you say?
Like a cunning test second. I'll sort that out in just a second. But what we'll do is we'll do the actual rolls first of all. Let's look at the difficulty of these. Spending a month is an easy 3 streetwise test. Each degree of success will give you a question that you could ask me. I may know the answer now. I may have to make it up later.
Okay. So just one, or do I need to do that twice?
You need to do it twice. So the first one we'll do. Do you want to do Old Town first, or do you want to do Horn Hill first?
Let's do in order of travel. So Horn Hill.
Cool. Roll that streetwise check for me.
15.
15 is 2 degrees of success.
And Old Town is 13.
Which again is 2 degrees of success. So 2 questions about Horn Hill and 2 questions about Old Town.
I had not anticipated there still being spies at Horn Hill. I didn't see that conversation going quite the way it did. Faye's definitely going to want to know about Old Town, the reaction to what she sends, and the Maester's reaction to finding out about what happened at Summerhall. That's the kind of info she's about, like gauging their reaction, because she knows that they're very similar to her in that kind of, this is all about the Reach, the kingdom, as opposed to taking sides. Yeah, so she wants to know where their opinions.
So what's their reaction to Summerhall?
Yeah.
What was the other one?
What's the reaction to the paperwork that she sends?
Reaction to tax avoidance.
Lovely,
lovely.
It's essentially just like, hey, remember me? You remember that thing you wanted help with? I don't forget my friends. Here you go.
Very nice.
And for Horn Hill, can I think on that and get back to you? Because that conversation has thrown me for a complete loop.
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to, if we don't ever kind of get to them in between as well, if you want to invoke them during a session, then
okay.
Let me know and we can figure something out. Again, I may have to get back to you. I'm notorious for being like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Until next session. So yeah, cool. So you got a couple of questions you can hit up for that. Right. But we do need to make the tests to see if they were discovered. Each time the benefit is called upon, it requires a cunning test to determine whether those being spied upon discover this fact. This test is a routine 6 difficulty with those with a lore of 30 or lower, and a +3 difficulty per 5 points of lore above that. So Tali has a lore of 31, I think. So for Horn Hill, this is going to be, a routine 6. For you, it's a cunning test.
Okey-dokey.
It doesn't list a specialty. So I don't know.
13.
That's a success. So they are fine. With 2 or more degrees of success on this test, the identity of the spy cells master... Oh, hang on a minute.
That's somebody else, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's confusing.
If this test fails, the spell, the cell of spies is compromised or lost. With 2 or more degrees of success on this test, the identity of the spy cell's master becomes revealed as well. I think that what they mean there is a critical failure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They mean a critical failure instead. They're just it's just poorly worded. A public revelation of the Lord possessing the spy network results in the loss of 1d3 + 3 influence.
Just got to get through 2 more months and this isn't a risk.
Just a little month.
Just 2 more months. What can go wrong? Definitely not treading on toes. Making anybody cross.
Happen?
Yeah. Did I need to roll for Old Town as well?
Yes.
Okie dokie.
Just roll.
Apparently the Maesters know what's going on, which is interesting. Yep. 16.
Very good, yeah. The spies dodge the somewhat besieging. I think Old Town is going through a kind of insurrection, like asymmetrical warfare. I don't think there's like a siege or anything. I get the feeling that like, and I want to, because this is how I've kind of framed it in my head, I think. And I think this is kind of information that will have eked out, and definitely you will have heard from your singers. The Costain's in charge, but they're just like the Citadel's undermining him at every single step, and Old Town just like isn't working for him, and he's getting really frustrated, basically.
Haha.
And I mean, probably I got to figure out what happens to Little Hightower, like where he is and what he's doing. Yeah. Okay.
Just having a lovely jam sandwich somewhere, like, oh, I'm in charge now. I can do whatever I want.
Just
look at all my money.
Just requesting multiple jam sandwiches.
Yeah.
All about the
entire citadel. Yeah.
Another one. Cool. All right. I think he was that young, and it was 5 years ago.
I have thought of something, Sam.
Yeah.
That I just remembered with Millie talking lots about mamas and spies. There was a musician or something that gave Mara the news about Alistair being released.
Oh yeah, my main guy.
And
Lucius,
she gave him a little bit of money as a thanks in that, but also if he would let her know, if when Alistair shows up at presumably Old Oak, but if he hears of Alistair, like where Alistair ends up after that, does she hear any more about that?
Based on the spell, the spy cell's locations, no, she doesn't.
Okay.
All right. Let's start to wrap things up. Are there any other actions you guys want to do?
Do I not need to roll House Fortune?
Oh yeah, shit, yeah.
For Rowan.
Sorry, yeah. Let's do that.
That's okay.
You have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put another couple of columns in here. You can either... Oh, Jesus, that just messed the whole thing up. You can either choose not to roll, because you rolled last month, and you can increase one resource by one. Or you can let Magistrate Benedar roll for you. And of course, chat would like you to roll, because we all would.
I would love to roll. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I haven't got all this loss mitigation bullshit for nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Wait. Magistrate Benedar. The magistrate stats have suck it, maesters. Status of 4 and a stewardship of 2.
Wow.
Yeah, he's literally as good as Faye would be.
Cool. So roll me 6 dice, keep 4. Or just roll that. Just roll that specialty that you've got there if he's exactly the same.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Remind me. Sorry, my brain's done a thing.
That's okay. What are you looking to roll? The custom roll button on the bottom left, or are you actually rolling your stats?
Just literally remind me what I'm rolling.
Okay. So 66, and you're keeping the best 4. Status plus stewardship.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. 19.
And the modifier from your holdings is a +2, which gives you a what? Maths.
21.
21.
21.
Dabby dozy. Let me find my PDF again. A 21 is growth.
Ooh.
You have a growth.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh, my skin's just a bit irritated from all the archery. It's not a growth.
It's a bruise. You can improve 1 resource by 1.
Okay.
What would Magistrate Benedar be improving?
Probably law, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of things going off automatically, haven't I? Or not?
Automatically?
Or is that
wouldn't think so.
Not a thing?
Magistrate.
I'm sure there was something to do with the holdings.
Your holdings give you if you were to increase population or wealth, it would increase by an additional 1.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case...
And then you've got resource loss mitigation pretty much all over.
Gotcha. All right, let's stick it in wealth then.
Okay.
Because then we get a +1.
Mate, wealth is always the resource you want to invest in. I'm just saying, always. Okay, so you put 2 into that, and let me update these formulas. So it's G7. Cool. So, yeah, your wealth is now 34. 1 more point, you could afford a new thing.
God damn it.
I know.
I want to open those toll roads back up. This is so frustrating.
You can exchange. You can manage resources if you want to as your house action. So you could convert some power into. Hold up. Hang on. Oh, that's interesting. You can't exchange anything into wealth. You can't just like magic money. You have to actually. You have to get money off. Either through glory, then, or through the actual House of Fortune rolls.
Ooh. No. Ignore me. I was getting overexcited.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think that's the limit of what I can do right now.
Okay.
I think. Although inevitably, once this is over, I will read a thing and my brain will start functioning and I'll go, please help.
That's okay. Yeah, no, that's all good. Remember how your festivals went away? 1 more wealth point and you can probably have them back.
10. I think I'd rather have my toll roads back. They give me money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And law. God damn it.
Yep.
Next time, gadget.
Next time. Coolio. Okay. Lovely. Is there anything else, friends, before we wrap up?
Yeah. I want to use a bonus, a destiny point to get a benefit.
Okay.
Ooh.
I want to get the inspiring benefit, which in war gives me an extra command, and I can sacrifice one of said commands to re-roll a test and take the better roll.
All right.
And I feel like, narratively, as she's gathering an army and she's like,
Yeah, she's inspiring.
Yeah.
Nice. That's
now
cool.
mechanically so. No one can take that from me.
Except I can, like I took away Mara's pretty benefit.
I mean, you took Daera from me, and I've still never forgiven you for it.
I took Daera from you. I can just take.
Is
stuff
that all
away.
on your own, Susie?
I didn't tell her to do shit. She did. She went and took one for the team. She went after Horatio. And
Didn't tell her not to, though. And as a leader, that is equally your responsibility.
I was 13. I was in jail because I threw wine in my uncle's face and called him a bitch.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to invest 2 glory, and I'm going to invest them into my knights, their endurance, and my small folk. I feel like they worked really hard. They deserve to get better at healing.
So you'd have to upgrade. So you have to invest your points into power, and then you could upgrade one of those units because their power costs go up by 2 per.
Oh right.
Ranky doobie. Per veterancy. So your knights are already elite, so there's not a lot you can do with them. But you can invest invest two glory into power, and then you could actually upgrade your
two different numbers. Yeah, then let's do that. Let me invest it into small folks.
Cool. Okay. Are they up here?
And I'll increase their healing, and I'll increase their.
Were they green before? Were they trained?
They're trained, so now they're veteran.
So now they're veteran. Yeah, that's right. Wow. And then you can pop them.
Maybe. Yeah. I can't. Yeah, maybe I'll increase their.
So you can increase their. You can increase two stats.
Yeah, maybe I'll increase their I mean, is there any real use for their animal handling, honestly?
Messages. That's what I would be rolling if you were just use them to send messages.
It's increased, well, yeah, because they've been sending a lot of messages too, and they're working out like he probably puts like his small folks in charge of like organizing the lines of communication between all the different places and messages coming in and out. So I'll do that.
Sweet. All right, nice.
And then I have a Destiny point as well. And I've been going back and forth. And first I was wondering, like, maybe I'll use it to cancel a drawback, but I don't think I am yet.
Canceling Ignoble at this point after the letter writing campaign would work for me.
Yeah, but do you feel like it's juicy enough to do that now? Or do you feel like it needs
to be no, I want to punish you until...
Right, yeah.
No, I know.
Like he is trying to act as nobly as he can. He's trying. Given the situation, but I don't know, like, does it really feel earned at this point? I'm not so sure.
Probably not right now.
Sure.
It's been like half an episode.
Probably give it a little bit, and people are really feeling it.
I'll hold on to my Destiny point now for them.
Okay.
I just get itchy when I have it because that means I can get out of death, and I don't want to. I don't want a cheap way out of death.
Look, you can always spend it during a session and then you don't get it back until you've reached another objective.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. Yeah. Cool.
All right, chums. Well, let's wrap it up there. That was really good. And it's all coming together neatly. I love the fact that we're all together. It'll be really, really juicy next time when Miria turns up.
And so over here.
And the real Lord Paramount of the Reach turns up. Just saying.
Oh.
But yeah, all right. Just quickly tell us where we can find you on the internet and stuff, I guess. Susie, you want to go?
Yes, I was just yelling at Tom because he was complaining about being alone, and I'm like, really? Slow blink. Hi, I'm Susie. The right and true Queen of Dawn, as we all know. I stream and stuff. Probably be streaming tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern-ish. Depends on if I can get the crew together, corralled, get these cats herded into one group in time. And then and then I'm not doing anything this weekend. Then on Monday, I will be back as usual. I don't know what I'm going to do on Monday. Maybe magic, but also I did get given a code for a dating sim about vampires. So
then you're playing that, of course you are.
Probably playing that, yeah. It's called First Bite.
So
Millie, how you doing? Where can we find you?
I want to play that game now. No shame at all. I'm good.
It's like a code. Play it together.
Oh, that's what the world needs. Me and Susie playing a vampire dating sim, just losing our shit. Actually, that is what the world needs.
It is.
It is.
But aside from that, I'm good. I'm over on Twitter as Amelia Tyler, tweeting occasionally about things I can talk about and never about things I can't because it's against the law, apparently. Boo. Mondays I'm over on The Wandering Inn playing Nomi, who had some fucking badass character development this week, and I've been slow burning that character for what feels like a billion years, and I finally got to show a little bit. You know what it's like when you're playing down absolutely everything about a character and all the exciting shit is going on in front of you and you're like soon, and a little bit of soon happened this week and it was very cool.
Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm doing at the moment. That and this, and Tuesdays we play Phasmo sometimes with me and Susie and Tom.
Nice.
It's good fun.
Yeah, it is good.
We're shit sometimes.
That's why it's
mainly shit. That's our tagline.
Mainly shit.
It's mainly shit.
Amazing. Oh, bless. V, where are you? What are you up to?
I haven't been streaming as much recently because work crunch, but I'm hoping tomorrow I will be back on stream doing something. I might be shooting things in Siege because that's been an adventure recently.
Oh.
End of the season, so all the toxic boys have come back.
Yay.
Yeah. But no, might be doing some of that. But otherwise, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter tweeting about things and mostly working. So my schedule next year is very open. So if you've got TTRPG things that need doing, I do like all of the things. So there's that.
Nice. Yes, please do.
About as much as I'm capable of marketing myself at this
Please
point
employ.
in the week.
That's fair. That is very, very fair. Don, what are you up to?
Hi. Oh, I'm running games, writing games. Same as always. It never ends, but it's always amazing. You can follow me if you want on Twitter. Sometimes I tweet at Jonathan Fry. I've got a Patreon too. If you're interested in my game design or you're interested in hearing about when a seat opens up at one of my games, you can follow through on Twitter and click on my Patreon and check that out too. But that's about it. I was really looking forward to this. It was a lot of fun. Like we made progress, like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or maybe 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's hard to say, but I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm really pumped that most of us finally, most of the crew is starting to converge, at least if only briefly. So I'm excited to see that happen. And I'm loving how this played out. I really enjoyed this session too, like starting with like an actual scene where we really didn't there's almost no rolling at all, and then go into the war council afterwards, so it kind of informed some of our decisions. I thought that was really cool. And that's all. That's me. It's been a week, and this is a great way to kind of wrap up my week with everybody here.
Yeah, thanks so much. Well, as for us, we are Black Cats Gaming. You can find us here streaming every Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesdays we're playing our spy game campaign. Thank you, Susie. Hexcrawl. It's all about surveillance capitalism, but uses some of the kind of tomorrow's future kind of setting that we've got in the game itself. You can go and grab that at blackcatsgamingshop.com, or if you are in West London in a couple of weekends' time and you're going to the Dragonmeet convention, then we will be there too, and we will be selling all of that stuff, including like the dice and the booklets and all of that stuff. So it's going to be very, very cool. I'm going to be there in the morning. Well, we're going to be there all day really, but I'm going to be there in the morning. James is going to be there in the afternoon. It's going to be a good time. Via's joining us as well. Apart from that, we've got some other smaller offerings out in the internet. We've got some one-page RPGs you can get from DriveThruRPG, and we've also got something on DM's Guild as well still. So we're putting together those little things in between doing our work on Cursed Captains of Cthulhu, which for the late pledges should be opening pretty shortly. We're just getting that going, getting that tested so that the pledge manager works, and then we'll be giving you more news about that very soon. So if you missed that, then you can hit a link somewhere. I think the CC here takes it to you. Just sign up to get notified about the pledge manager and the late pledges going live. So yeah, if you missed it and your sounds interesting for you, then check it out there as well. Let's go and raid somebody. We are going to go and raid Distracted Elf. She's playing Crusader Kings 3. I haven't watched that in frippin' ages, but I can't remember her real name, honestly. But I caught her playing on one of Roll20's streams, actually, a while back on a D&D game or something. Gave her a follow. So please do check her out. Check out who she is playing as Crusader Kings, what she's up to, and give her a love. But until Wednesday, if you catch us, or if you catch the Dragonmeet, take care of yourselves. Have a good one. We're off to go and probably juice some more fruits for half an hour, just chat shit and all that kind of good stuff. All right, ta-da. Take care, friends.